platform. I searched for that like forever. That must be a newer thing or something. Whoa, I hear myself. Oh, because I'm not muted. Okay.
Hi.
It wasn't me.
Mike was paying so much attention to everything going on. I mean, you can.
You're supposed to watch me.
Welcome to Lost Initiative week for General's Directive. I'm not muted. You should be able to hear me. We're back. I'm going to hand it to Scott pretty much right out the gate. Since we are doing Dark Side, since Wade is off touring, I believe. He's doing some makeup tours around the world right now. He'll be back for next week. Should be anyway. But today we're going to do General's Directive, which is the evil campaign run in the same world as Star Wars, the Fate in the Stars campaign. Where we're playing a bunch of evil people with the Empire Remnants. So, Scott, I don't remember where we left off. I don't think any of us remember where we left off specifically. We're going to a ship, man.
Finished the battle.
Right? We finished the battle.
Now we're going to get out of our ship. Well, not all of us. Some of us are going to get out of the ship and go to get the package on the other ship that we just blew a hole into.
Mm-hmm. I believe, actually, if the way I described it, you guys actually...
Star's Edge.
You actually did. So let's go back from the beginning. More or less, you had a task to find some missing weapons, to recover some weapons that had gone missing. You discovered where it was that had gone missing from, kind of like who was behind it. It was part of the, I don't want to say like a big grand plot, but it was definitely one of the other generals that are involved in vying for power since the fall of the Empire. So anyways, you guys are able to discover where the ship had gone, where the shipment had gone to. And so you're like, okay, well, we need to get that stuff. There's a few ways we can go about it, be all nicey nice. And you kind of did that enough to find out like exactly where everything was. And then you decided to fly in, blow a hole in the side of their ship. And then while there was no gravity, because you're in space, and while there was no pressure, you guys just kind of grabbed the things and threw them across. And so this is where you guys literally were taking the crates and throwing them across the way and piled them into your own cargo area. It wasn't the cleanest snatch and grab, but you did get everything that you expected. And then Mike was a little conniving. He had a little extra time with a good roll that he made. So Mike actually decided to, hey, let's grab this library worth of crates. And so you guys did successfully retrieve those as well. So you actually did already get all the supplies, including the library full of crates that makes him giddy, and are heading over to finally turn these things in to Maggie. If you check your character sheet, you'll find the name of the woman that gave you the task in the first place. I believe it was Rebecca.
Yes.
But why don't we do what we do worst?
Yeah.
And reset that dice pool. So clear pool. Is everybody ready?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Who's going first?
Ladies first, if you could, Mike.
All right. Unfortunate.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's about right. I'm pretty
Okay,
sure.
there we go.
There's, like, in both campaigns, even when I'm running and the one you're running, Dark Side has to go up like 75% of the time.
None of us have the physical dice, so I don't know if it's 50-50 even.
It is 50-50 even. I have the physical dice.
You do? Yeah. Oh, you do? You bought those like...
Yeah, when the first came out, when the system
years ago.
Came out initially, I grabbed it.
That was like 6 years
it's
ago
50-50.
or something. Yeah.
It's equal on 4 different sides or whatever.
I don't believe it. That's fake news. So
it feels like fake news at the very
It does. God, we never get the white ones. All right.
Just have really bad luck.
Yeah, more or less.
No, I just have good luck. So, all right. Anyways, so you guys were flying to the coordinates for your big old boss of where it is you needed to go to deliver the shipments. So the coordinates were actually to her Star Destroyer, and she does keep her Star Destroyer in a region over near Coruscant. Now, it's not actually at Coruscant right now. It's going to be another star nearby. So, of course, when you send out the coordinates to Rebecca, and we can role play that really quickly because I know, Maggie, you want to get back into the mind of Eris, and I know how much you love role playing with Becky.
So we're skipping past having to get the package.
No, you already got those. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're skipping past that. So we have the package, and we're just calling in.
I'm sorry, am I mistaken? I could have sworn last time we actually.
We totally got them.
Yeah, we got them the end of last session. Yep. Because I did that.
We blew a hole in the ship, and we were going to get out to go get the package.
We went out. Wade went out, and Wade and a couple others.
He pushed them through space.
Yeah,
to our ship.
Space.
To our airlock.
Why don't I remember this? I don't know. It's been too long. It's been like a month.
It ended there. We got the crates on the ship, and now that's got refreshed memories.
Maggie, I know why.
You know that the packages were actually owned by Roto Yalin?
Correct.
So I was going to look up who that was.
Correct. So what I was just saying is the reason you probably didn't remember is because you weren't actively killing, torturing, or lording over somebody, and you're about to get paid, which is so unusual in our Star Wars campaigns.
That's true. And in the other campaign, we stopped at you about to board the other derelict ship that apparently is happening.
Oh, that might be why.
Oh,
Yeah.
that might be why I'm getting them mixed up, because
So what you're saying is hashtag fuck Mathis. That's what you're saying.
No, I hate this fuck Mathis attitude.
This is 20 years of my life right here. This
Mathis,
man.
I love you.
I
But
love
you have to
too,
understand,
Doxy.
his ass is so supple and soft.
It is true. I've sat with Scott many times.
That is also true.
It is, in fact, factual.
Yeah, factual.
Many times Scott pats his lap.
Real news.
And I'm just like, all right.
you know what? I'm not surprised. 0%.
Come to daddy. All right. So anyways, all right. So you're actually back on your ship. You've already received your cargo. You're good to go. You can actually send your report over to Rebecca. I'm correct in her name being Rebecca, right, Maggie?
Yes. Her name is Rebecca. She was sassy.
She's sassy.
But I won my role, so I got my monies.
You got more money than I wanted to give you.
I got
So
a lot of monies.
you can hop over to your holocron and to your holo transmitter, and you can actually speak to her. Now, we actually do have a pretty good view of what this ship looks like now, which is pretty awesome. So you can actually do these conversations in 2 different places, technically 3. On the bridge, you can have them while sitting in the captain's chair, but it's the small little holo display. You can also do it in the main cabin area, which has the huge holo display inside of it. And then
I don't have the next one.
Oh, you don't? Oh, that's funny. And then the last one.
Because it has logos all over it, so I didn't want to use that one. But they do have the conference room.
And then there's the conference room, which is the final one. But I imagine the conference room is more for private phone calls. So.
Or group things, I suppose.
If you guys want to sit instead of stand. So so you call into Rebecca. Where do you want to call from? If it matters. You can also do it from your own personal, which is a lower quality one, but your personal one, your handheld. But you did that.
I guess,
before.
the first thing is that where are we located right now? Sorry.
You had literally just stolen from the derelict ship, and your pilot is dick, dick, dick. And this part we actually didn't cover at the end of the last session. It was dick, 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 and kind of blasting out of there. So just a hyper jump to nowhere specific just to get away from the crime.
Yeah. Okay. That was because that's what I wanted to do first. Because I was I do not want to sit here for very long, if possible.
Yeah.
Did we get anything else other than that one package? Because we were basically going to try to get as much as we could.
And what you successfully acquired otherwise was the library worth of books. And these are actual books that what's his name? Latris wanted. Oh, and actually literally, we have something more important to handle right now. I'm so sorry, I just remembered. Literally the very last thing that happened is we ended last session. You got Latris's books, you got the package, you got everything. And then all of a sudden you hear a scream of happiness and joy and whatnot, which woke my daughter up. A scream of happiness and joy. Because what's his name? Naga had successfully opens the door.
That's right.
Yeah. For the robot.
Yes. So sorry. It's when you play every once in a great while, you forget some details. So that being said, what do you want to do? You can, I imagine you want to call Naga over to you or make your way over to the medical bay.
Yeah, I guess I'll make my way over to the medical bay. I'm not in a rush to have to talk to Rebecca.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Oh, I bet you're dreading it. This is you're procrastinating.
I hate her. She's so annoying. I don't even know how she has her job.
Okay. So when you because she's really good at it, despite what you think. So when you make your way over to the medical area and you go to see what the screaming, hooting, and hollering is about, even though we kind of gave it away, you do see that Naga is standing there with the door literally ripped into tons of shreds on the ground all around, tons of tools all about, so on and so forth. But most importantly, he has that monoblade that was recently purchased and brought onto the ship, specifically to open this door, even though it's something he would never use. And so
that's what it was specifically for, sure.
Yes. And so he did rip the thing open, cut it open, and has it there so that behind, the lights are shut off, but you can see the silhouette of a droid powered down, but standing inside the doorway, like standing right inside the small little droid charge station.
It's a pity you had to make so much mess. Well, what is it?
Oh, the mess. I'll clean it up as soon as I can, Maris. I will. It's a droid.
Yeah, I figured that.
Oh, the make. It's one I've never seen before. It looks kind of old.
And he goes over and he actually goes into the room and he grabs it, kind of lifts it and pulls it out a little bit. So it's funny because the droid actually has a very humanoid frame. It has the whole upper body of it is completely covered with the exception of its like big core. Has its upper torso frame has holes that you can see its big core right by where your belly would be of your body, but its whole chest, arms, and everything are completely formed with a humanoid-esque shape. The head comes up to almost be like the flat end of an iron, has a couple of blue lights on it that clearly come off as sensors, and the way that the top of the droid's head almost looks like an old bob, like you would see from like a 1950s woman. Almost looks like a bob, but it's all made out of hard metal and not anywhere near as sleek or smooth looking as say Edie's hair from the Mass Effect games. The lower body is just very see-through PO-esque and how it's pretty much all completely covered in metals. And you can tell that it looks very much like a protocol droid from how you would generally see droids done nowadays. However, this is not a design that you're familiar with whatsoever, unless you can make a really hard lore check. Don't worry, there won't be red dice. Give me 1 second to set it up.
All right.
And you can go right ahead, whatever you'd like. Oh, considering where'd all those blues come from?
Oh, I don't know why I have all those blues. Should I re-roll it?
Sure.
Hmm.
Oh, but you succeeded.
Nice.
Take 4 stress, but
Very
successful.
stressful to recall that memory, but you did it.
So I mean, wow, that's funny. So I'm going to explain the strain as one of those things
It's stressful because the last time I had to interact with a robot like this, my arm was shot and it didn't feel great.
It hurt a lot. You would have learned about this thing a long time ago, and probably an old task, like you said. Your arm was shot not by the robot itself, but whatever task it was that you were doing. You're just kind of like remembering that old job that you were on. It was actually before you worked for the general that you work for nowadays. But you remember reading and hearing about this thing. So this is actually an M3 M1 series droid. This is a very old, very outdated droid that existed way back in the time when the Sith Wars happened. So you know that at one point in time, these droids were manufactured by the Hutts, and they're actually used to sell to both sides of the war. So either one of them could get their hands on these, and depending on who it was that purchased it, there's a different suite of upgrades or programming that would exist for the droid. Anything beyond that, though, you do not know. You just know this is a very old droid and probably an original to the vessel that you're in right now. It's currently powered down, but you can see that the console in the room that it was just taken from, the lights are on, allowing you to, you can easily power it up if you gave the command to do so.
Well, are we going to turn it on or what?
Of course, Eris. I'd be more than happy to.
And so he makes his way over to the console and starts like beep booping on it until finally he presses like the engage, and you see the droid comes back online and says, "Hello. I do not know who any of you are. Please, may I have a blood sample? He says and immediately walks forward over to you, and he holds his hand out like with most of his fingers curled, palm up with one finger extended, but the very tip of that finger opens up, much like you would see those heartbeat monitors in a hospital, and says, right after saying that,
Kuka skitters away. She does not.
Well,
want to give a
see if
blood
it works. I have something to do, and I'm gonna walk into my captain's corridors and leave him not gonna figure that out. He can be the test guinea pig, and I'm gonna call into Rebecca, tell her, "I got your package, girl."
okay. So he walks over to you, does that thing. You're like, "Meh." You walk away. Naga's like, I guess I'll have to take care of this. And goes like, as you're walking away, put his finger inside of it. You go over to your room, shut the door, call Rebecca. When she finally answers the call, which is relatively quick, she comes back online and she says, so anything you care to report there, Eris?
Yeah, we have that package that you're looking for.
Oh?
Yeah. So, where would you like me to deliver it?
Well, I guess I'll be sending some coordinates your way. I believe we did agree upon 15,000 credits, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
I'll have the transfer sent to you as soon as you get to the coordinates, so you can make your way over there. I'll be transferring them over now.
Out of character, did we took some hull damage, didn't we?
Good question. I think it's on your character sheet.
Believe so. Oh no, we didn't take any hull. We took 8.
Yeah, 8 hull damage. Yep. And Naga can fix that.
What?
Naga can fix that.
Okay. If that's fixable, then I'm cool.
Yep. I mean, it's one of those things where it'll leave behind marks. You can see that there's replacement plates and whatnot to fix it to be beautiful, like perfectly beautiful. It's going to be more expensive because it's an antique ship, but he can fix it so there's no damage, no problems.
Oh, well, if there's going to be marks, then I'm going to give this lady shit. Okay. How much, out of character, how much damage is it worth?
You think that beyond just the typical repairs and whatnot, 'cause you have supplies in the ship anyways, like an extra 1,000 credits or so would cover like making it look as pristine as it did prior.
Okay. So when she says that, I'll say, we agreed on 15,000, but I think you should make it 16. My antique ship took a little bit extra damage, and we can repair most of it, but it is an antique.
I'll run that by Mariana. Let's see what she has to say about your greedy little fingers reaching deeper into the pot.
Hey, I always make sure she gets what she wants.
It's been a while. We've been waiting. So I'll see you at the coordinates then, okay?
Find someone else who can do it faster.
I've been working on that. And then she ends the call there.
Because she can't.
So as soon as the call ends, you hear like some loud crashing and banging going on in one of the other rooms. And this is Kuka. What you had witnessed was that this droid had done a sample test on Naga, wasn't happy with it, went immediately to the bridge and immediately bothered, what's his name there? Bazui, I think his name is. It is Bazui, the pilot, who was like, yeah, and it was very dissatisfied with it reading it, got off there. And then it went over to bother, who's the other crew member you have? Latris. So it's literally, you hear like a loud bang because Latris is inside of his room, like the meeting room with the door shut. It's like, bang, bang, bang. Excuse me, I need to take a sample.
The door's shut, right?
Mm-hmm.
I just, from where I am, flip a switch, the door will fly open. I'll see the droid. Will I recognize for what it is?
You can roll me a lore check. It's going to be much easier for you because you're good at this stuff. Give me 1 second. It's still not easy, but you can roll your lore check whenever you like.
I fail.
Mm-hmm.
That's surprising. Nope, don't recognize it.
It's funny you fail. You don't recognize it, but the thing is saying, so as soon as the door opens, he goes, excuse me, I need a sample. And it walks immediately over to you, and the same thing opens its hand out, and the tip of its finger opens up.
I'll just kind of look at it with one raised eyebrow. Your model and designation, and why should I give you what you're asking for?
I am M3M1T1M. I am it's kind of, I can only give information to and receive orders from people that fall into certain parameters. Anyone else is to be deemed a threat and handled accordingly.
So you're a security droid of a sort.
We'll go with that.
Maybe you should go talk to the captain of the ship first, then.
She does not seem to be in a place that I've been able to locate again, assuming that the captain of the ship is the Twi'lek.
I give him directions to her captain's quarters. Like, just knock a bunch, she'll answer.
I certainly will, and thank you for the assistance. But in the meanwhile, since we're here...
I kind of shake my head. No.
It takes another step forward.
I take a step back.
So Kuka overheard that, and she is like running to in front of Eris's door to protect Eris from the evil new droid.
I looked at him, I'm like, I don't know if you know, but you're about 3,000 years out of date.
I haven't been able to access the holonet to acquire any form of information yet because that's not part of my protocol. I will speak to the captain, and we'll have further business shortly, I presume. Turns around and starts walking out.
I plop back down in my chair and continue reading whatever I was reading.
Walks up to Kuka and says, "Pardon me, may I have a sample?"
No.
Like lowers down to get to Kuka's level and puts the hand out further.
No sample. No.
Why does it seem to be so difficult to get a sample of people's blood on this ship? Is there a disease?
Hurts. No.
It's nothing but a prick.
You are prick. No.
It seems like, think about what that might mean, then stands up and then reaches over Kuka and knocks on the door,
No.
It's your door. Eris.
Yeah. I'll open it.
Mm-hmm. I presume you're the captain.
I am.
I would like to have a sample.
Did you not get anyone else's sample?
They didn't meet satisfaction.
What is your satisfaction?
I cannot divulge that information or take orders from anybody other than those that hit the parameters I'm looking for.
If no one fits the parameters, then what?
You will all be deemed a threat.
This amuses me, so I look down at Kuka and I pat her on the head, and then I let it prick my finger.
Okay, so you put your finger inside there, and it is a quick little prick.
And then I lean up against the door, and watch.
Kuka kind of gasps. Just I can't believe you just did that.
It sits there. It says, "Thank you for your cooperation. Give me one moment to analyze." And
I'm gonna tap Kuka's weapon and be like, "You might run already then."
She pulls it out. Hissing laughter.
When she pulls it out, seeing that there's a threat towards the droid itself, the little blue lights on its face immediately flicker to red. And when the lights flicker to red, you can actually see that the ship itself has almost like you can feel a slight shudder or vibration that goes through the ship itself. But nothing actually changes that you can see. Just you've lived on the ship for a little bit of time now. You're leaning on it, and you're like, that was weird because it was coordinated with. And it continues analyzing, doesn't move or say anything until finally, all of a sudden, the lights turn blue again, and it says, "Analysis complete. It's a pleasure to serve you, Master."
Well, at least that worked. I look down at Kuka and I kind of push the weapon down so she doesn't have to use it. And I'm like, looks like we won't need that after all.
I'm awaiting orders.
Do we have somebody who needed repairs?
Can he do mechanics? You can actually inquire, but it's a medical droid.
No, I meant somebody who needed heal.
Maybe Urath.
Yeah, maybe Urath. I can't remember who we were trying to get it to. Oh, yeah, that's right. We were trying to get it to work for Urath.
Oh, that's right, because Urath was sick.
Still harmed? I don't know if he is or not.
Yeah, he's still, injured or whatever. Urath just has been off and on because of his, unfortunately, it was literally thousands of years that he was in cryo. Yeah. That's something that's not normal. So.
Head to the medical bay, and if anyone asks for something, provide it to them.
Absolutely. I'll be more than happy to
Wow.
do as you bid, Master.
Anyone who's on the ship log.
There is a
As a crew member, yeah.
Yep. I believe that is a Naga Silwraith, a Bezwi, a Arisvola, a Kuka, a Lotris, and finally someone by the name of Urath. Though there is some strange details about this Urath. Seems like some details are hidden from the log. Race, age.
Yeah, you can have fun with that.
I will certainly try to find some fun.
Don't we have the slicer too?
Oh yeah, you have the slicer on there, don't you?
Visit Hugo.
Yes, visit. So he says, and then says, because visit is actually a member of the crew, not temporary, that's right, and a visit Hugo. And then the droid will then turn and go into the medical bay. And as soon as he goes into the medical bay, you immediately hear, tisk, tisk, tisk. This place is just an utter and complete shame. Look at this mess. And then goes about starting to clean it up.
Cool. I'm gonna go to the bridge.
Mm-hmm.
Or is it the bridge? Whatever.
It is a bridge.
Yeah, and I'm gonna talk to the pilot.
Mm-hmm. Best way.
Looks like we need to take the ship here. I upload the coordinates.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I will get calculating that immediately. Might I ask where we're going?
I'm not sure. You tell me. Those are the coordinates that they provided.
All right. I'll get you that answer shortly. And starts heading off in that direction. Later on, he's able to report back to you that you're heading to an axis. Is the star that the planet that the Star Destroyer is currently, over in the system of, but
Okay.
There's nothing of significance that you can think of that's going on over there. Anything else that you guys need to do other than play with the space kitty?
We have all those books, so I would provide those to Lotris to look over, probably.
I will eagerly start pouring through those when I have my hands on them.
Yeah, I probably have I'll probably order someone to bring all the books to Lotris in the conference room so that they can work on them there in private. Since the normal room where everyone, the quarters where they or the crew quarters, sometimes can get a little crowded.
Yeah. If I'm going to make a suggestion, the books actually might look really cool if they're completely set up in the conference room, but don't let Lotris actually assemble the bookcases. Some pieces might be done backwards. So
I only did that once, one bookcase, and then I drew over it with a marker, so it's fine.
You put the bookshelf together wrong?
One of them, one of the shelves was just flipped the wrong way, turned the wrong way. So
I don't think I would have him do anything like that. Anyway.
And are they actual physical books? Because that's rare in Star Wars.
Yeah, they're actual physical books, which is super rare. That's why.
I couldn't remember if that's why I was give them.
I'd send them to you, and then, or have somebody move them to the conference room for you, and then probably go visit you at some point.
Sure.
Once they're all in that room.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we can allow time to fly by at whatever extent you want until you arrive where you're going to. So you guys can have the books there and go visit them in the room.
Yeah, okay. Lotris.
Kind of look up as I'm probably sorting books in a weird way, whatever makes sense to me.
Oh, I thought this was going to be before that.
Oh, and then you walk in as I'm finished sorting them.
No, I meant before that even. Because
sure.
I was going to have somebody else move the books in there for you. Then.
Oh, okay. Then I misunderstood. All right, continue. Sure.
Yeah. We attained some books. I've had them set up in the conference room for you. Look them over and let me know what you find out.
I'm eager to get my hands on them. I haven't gotten to hold an actual book in years.
I'll never understand why people like them.
There's just a certain physicality to them. The smell, the look. They're artifacts long gone at this point.
dust, mold.
Only if ill-kept.
Well, you can tell me how well kept they are.
And I will. And if they're useless, even if they have no information that is valuable to either of us or any of the crew, they will sell for quite a few credits. I can guarantee you that.
Sounds good. We should probably scan all the books anyways so that we have a log of them.
Agreed.
And that way we don't need the physical copies if something were to happen to them.
He kind of just, gives you like an acknowledging look and kind of stands himself up and is like, well, then I'll get to work immediately.
Go be the scanner. Go manually scan all these books.
Honestly, while like that might be menial to most people, that's thrilling to me.
Yeah,
I
he's
get to,
probably
like,
like,
flip
oh
through
my
books
God.
and like keep records of
That's
them.
me.
That's exciting.
I'm like Latris. I want the physical book in my hand and the smell of it.
Agreed.
Definitely need the smell of it. Yeah, I love it when you first open a book and you can almost hear the binding cracking a little.
Yeah.
You're like,
Yeah.
ooh, sounds so nice.
Eris does not give any fucks about that shit.
I read one book ever on a tablet, but it was like a tablet that had the settings so it didn't hurt your eyes, and I hated it. I was like, this is the worst.
I wait for e-readers. You can read them in bed in the dark.
That's why I did it. Is because
like
I was lying in bed and it allowed me to do it without having the light on or whatever. It was honestly just a reread of Ender's Game because it had been many years. It was right before the movie came out, which just disappointed me. And I was like, I just can't do it. I'd rather have the light on and hold the physical book. You know, everybody's different. All right, so you go in there, you guys have that conversation. The books actually do come in, and just to kind of go over them, Malthus, if you could just do me a quick check. This is nothing super important. Why don't you roll for me a perception check, please?
Good to go.
Yeah, I'm going to give you a blue die
Sure.
because once again, this is something that you just happen to be good at.
I can give. I'll roll one blue die though. It won't matter. I don't think. How can I roll one blue die?
You add it to the top of your character sheet and then press perception, so you're good there.
Okay.
No, okay, you did it. Sorry, I didn't see it pop. I didn't hear blue
It's all
in my
good.
head. So, all right, so you succeed. So what happens is while you're looking at it, you actually got advantage too, on it. So what happens is as you're looking through the books, as you're scanning them, you actually see there is a bit of ill repair to them. First of all the books do have a significant amount of dust. All of them have a significant smell of must, but a good amount of them even have a bit of mold to them. Now, that's because the containers that they were held in, where they came from, these are very old books that were kept in wherever location they were, hadn't been cared for a long time. You have the technology, if you were on like a core world, to easily just eradicate all of this mold so they didn't do any more damage or whatever it is. But there is damage to the books. None of them are pristine as they are right now, but still in much better shape than almost any book you see anywhere outside of a museum or something like that.
Sweet.
So either way, these are the books. As you're going through them, you immediately start reading them. First of all the books are in the same language, and it's the language of the, oh my God, I forgot the name of the race of the people. It's the other ones with the head pieces.
It starts with a T.
Yes, them.
Like
Yeah, I know what
Ashoka's
you're talking
race?
about.
To show, yes, Ashoka's race.
Gotcha. Yeah, I can't remember the name of the race either. Off the top of my head, anyway.
I'm getting it right now because I'm a terrible person. I should have known this beforehand. Where are you?
Togruta?
Togruta. Yes, thank you, Togruta. And I have it right here. Now I see it. Togruta. So, you know, it's that species of people. I think you even contemplated being one. So the Togruta, it's all in their language, which it's one of those things where if your character cannot read it, which I imagine he can, he's got translators to handle it for him. So it's all in Togruta, and it happens to come from a Togruta library. With an initial scan, it seems like in any library, there are going to be books of value where there's books of scientific theory, books of their classic readings of important stories that shapes their culture. But then also there's the less important books. And so it's actually literally library books. As for finding something of significance amongst them, that's going to take you a considerable amount of time. Okay. So, but at least you have you can read the Togruta version of 50 Shades of headdress.
Perfect.
So you are making your way over to nobody else wants any more chats. I imagine we're all good because I know Kuka's super chatty.
I'm great.
So
I
you
want
guys,
a conversation of Kuka with her cat.
Wow, that was a thrilling conversation. So you guys make your way over to a nexus where you come into view of the Star Destroyer. Again, everything goes smoothly to make your way here. You can, when you pop out of hyperspace, even though you're still a distance away, you can see that Star Destroyer off in the distance. And most of you guys are old enough to remember when the sight of a Star Destroyer was one of the most intimidating things you could possibly see. Whether or not you were a fan of the Empire didn't necessarily mean that you were safe from the actions of any particular Star Destroyer in your region. So despite the fact that you know that this is a friendly vessel, you still have that pit in your stomach as you approach towards it. You can almost hear that, music in the background. Dun, dun,
The Imperial March.
And as you guys are approaching the vessel, of course, your Bezwi communicates over to them, unless you care to take care of those minor details, Captain.
No, it's fine.
Bezwi communicates over to them, gives them your ship's information. You get the transpondence codes, and you guys are able to get into the dock your ship within the actual Star Destroyer itself. So you guys actually pull up and dock within. It's just another reminder of the sheer massive size of a Star Destroyer to take a ship of your size and dock it into a place where there's more than enough room to spare all around for many other ships to dock as well. When you do finally open up your vessel, not the cargo area yet, but the airlock for you guys to actually walk out and onto the docking area of the Star Destroyer, the whole area is just pristine white. It is very, very, very clean. And you do walk out and you see the soldiers here do in fact still wear the traditional stormtrooper armor. The soldiers here are the traditional stormtroopers, which makes sense knowing Mariana's background, but still has this feeling in your stomach. How many times in your youth, Aris, did you have to run from a stormtrooper that wasn't a fan of your actions? You know what I mean? How many times, Kuka, did you have to hide from a stormtrooper? To be fair, you just killed a couple of their friends, but how many times, and so on. So when the door opens up and you guys are able to come out, one of the stormtroopers comes walking up to you. Others are around doing their tasks, marching along in their formations for whatever it is that they're doing. Doesn't really matter to you. One particular stormtrooper comes up holding a data pad in their hand and says, I see that you're meant to be here, but I actually don't have a name for your vessel.
Saragossa.
Saragossa? And Captain Arisfola, correct?
Correct.
Noteworthy crew, is that everything on the manifest up to date?
I look over at the captain. Or not the captain, the pilot. See if he updated.
The pilot nods almost lazily.
Yeah, we should be all up to date.
I'm
the captain, sorry. I look at myself.
Get a mirror out.
She's very vain.
Yeah, bust out a compact.
Yeah.
So
I meant to say pilot. I don't know what I was thinking.
So the pilot realized, catching a signal, just kind of swipes and transfers the information over to them, and the person rattles off the names. You say everything's it rattles off one or two of the names, gets the gist, and then says, "Very well. You're actually welcome to move about freely. You don't have any restrictions, as far as I can see, aboard the vessel."
Good. I'm gonna motion for whoever can carry the one package that we need to deliver.
Mm-hmm. A bunch of crates, but yeah.
Is it a bunch of crates? Oh, yeah, it's a bunch of stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so... we need a cart. We have a lot of baggage.
Absolutely. Mind open your cargo bay?
I look over at Bez.
Drops down, and he'll walk around back with you and go over to the cargo area. When he starts walking up the cargo area, he walks up into it, and then after you guys are going inside, he starts looking around because it is pretty full of all the different crates that you guys got here. He's walking around. I imagine Aris is walking with him, but I imagine not necessarily even in tow, kind of hanging back a little bit. At one point in time, you hear, "Oh, jeez! Oh!" And then that's when you hear Urath give a bit of a grunt, and he's just and then turns and walks out of the room. And the guy will look back at you, and he has this stormtrooper helmet on, so you can't see his face or anything. And he's like, What was that?
That's
Is that what a
Ula.
Wookiee looks like when it's shaved?
No.
What was that?
It's for me to know.
Okay, it says no restrictions. I will just send a report of what I saw then. Yeah, I see you have a lot of crates here. I'm just gonna I'll send some people over with some sleds. It'll be, and then he turns and like walks out of the place, and as he gets down to the ramp, he looks back up one last time and then turns and walks hastily away from your vessel.
I look at Bez and I'm like, make sure they only take what we were required to deliver. The rest is ours.
There's not much left in the ship, Captain. We had transported the books over to the other room for you, and pretty much anything else in here is runs scarce on supplies. Perhaps we can even gather some here or one of the planets nearby after we complete our business.
Yeah. Update us with what you need, and we'll see what we can do.
Naga wanted to speak to you before you head off as well. I know he was over in the engineering area. He seemed a little excited that we were going to be docking.
I'll go talk to Naga.
Okay. You speak with him, and Naga's just more or less just like, because you guys are at a dry dock looking for permission to do any of these, any extra repairs or whatever outside the hull, because it's hard to do when you're in space.
Yeah.
Okay.
I expected so. Let me know if there's any supplies you need.
Yep. And then because Naga's actually like super like, yes, of course. He actually makes a small request. He's like, I'll of course stay here and take care of the ship, but if you can find some good liquor, I'd appreciate that.
We'll see what we can do.
And
Might not be a bad idea to keep morale up.
they go about their business, and you're welcome to freely move about the actual Star Destroyer.
Yeah, and I toss him over 1,000 credits to ensure that if there's anything else he needs for repairs.
Gotcha. He will get together a manifest and do all that stuff, take care of it for you. Cool. So that's the fun little nitty gritty things we get to throw to an NPC, so you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, that's what I was figuring. It'd be good.
Yeah. It's on an RTS or something, right? So you guys need to. So you guys are free to move about the Star Destroyer as you see fit. Obviously, you know that it's Mariana that you wanted to that owns the Star Destroyer, is potentially even on the Star Destroyer. But it's Rebecca that you'd be meeting with here.
All right. Once we get I think you called them sleds or whatever.
Mariari. I'm saying her name wrong. I'm sorry. It's Mariari. And the sleds, they come over. Anybody that comes over to assist you, they clearly work for this place as well. They have uniforms as well, not stormtroopers. They're going to transport the things for you, and they 100% follow orders to a T.
Yeah, once all of that stuff's on the crates, and I'll just follow along with that. And anyone else who wants to join me is welcome to come.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Kuka definitely follows you.
Kuka's like, yes. I'm like, Kuka, you have to leave the cat.
Bruh. Milk?
I can't hear you, really. I don't know why.
Can you hear me now? Hello?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think you might have been just talking quieter or something.
Yeah. Sierra. Milk?
Oh, we can get milk for your cat, but you need to leave it here.
Okay. And she just like sets the cat down, and the cat runs to the escape pod.
All right. You're training the cat to live in the escape pod.
Yeah, that's where like her bed and litter box and stuff.
If we ever actually have to use this escape pod, it's gonna be like cat poop. It's gonna smell like cat poop.
Ammonia. Oh,
God.
it's literally nauseating.
Susa is a responsible pet owner, and she scoops out litter every night.
Into Lajos's pillowcase.
Oh, first of all, really rude.
Onto her own plate, and she eats it.
Yeah, that's more acceptable.
Listen, we don't know the Nagri diet, okay?
That's true.
It's gross. Okay, so you guys are able to have free reign over the.
I was going to make another joke, but I'll just not.
Thank you.
Unless you really want to know.
You know what? The suspense.
I was thinking like, like the nutty peanut butter.
Oh, no.
Mm-mm.
You know what? Why don't we take a break? That way we come back. We have a little bit more focus because things are kind of getting shitty. So,
Nice. Oh crap.
All right, I'm cutting you off, everybody. You're done. See you in a bit. All right, welcome back, everybody. Hour 2, General's Directive. Take it away, Scott.
So as we had said beforehand, Mike, you can peel away the green screen. By the way, that is 2 button clicks for you. You can fix all of this.
No.
This is peer pressure. You can fix all of
I'm
this.
going to green screen you out?
Well, not me.
No, that's the only way.
Like the background. Like this. All right. So, anyways, what was I saying? So I kind of do just want to, like, everybody should just have what Maggie has in the background, just so we can all be on the ship together. But different
I can
rooms.
turn this off and he can green screen it.
No. I meant what you actually have, but different rooms for everybody.
We're all in a different room of the ship.
That'd be kind of funny. But let's go back. So
you
guys,
Scott. You're free of your green screen.
Oh, I thank you. It's so important to me. Super important to me. Oh, you have me in such a narrow little box too. It's so funny.
I'm gonna fix. There you go. Now you got some range.
All right. I gotta be able to spirit fingers all around. You know what I mean? All right. So, anyways, you guys are free reign of the Star Destroyer, as I said beforehand. I know you have a very specific task of where it is that you want to go to. You need to go speak with Rebecca, and it's not going to be difficult for you to find her. You can easily grab that information either from a terminal nearby, asking somebody, so on and so forth. But is there anywhere else on the ship that you guys would like to go and check out? Anything else that kind of catches your fancy, or straight to Rebecca?
I just need to deliver these packages personally, and then get stuff for the ship.
Okay.
Lotris will mostly probably stay in the ship. Not because he's afraid of the Empire, but he also remembers the Empire during their racist days. So, even though he is Arcanian, it wasn't human. So he probably is just going to hang back.
Okay. Not a problem. Even though there's 2 non-humans going throughout the ship right now.
Yeah, but I understand one of those non-humans is incredibly special. So
That's true. So you're heading straight over to her then. Maggie, you said deliver them personally yourself. Does that mean you want to, because they were just going to take the packages where they needed to be brought. Do you want to go out of your way to bring them directly to her? Like, look, I have them here for you.
Yeah. That's my style.
That slows down the process because they have to bring everything to the appropriate service elevators and bring them there. And you're not riding in a service elevator. You're going to get them more comfortable and have them meet you on the deck that it needs to be. So it does give you a little bit of time to kill, but you know where you got to go and about how long to get there. So if you're not heading anywhere specific, I imagine you take a little bit of a scenic route. And so just to remind you, the inside of a Star Destroyer, this whole place is pristine. I want to press the point that walking through the Star Destroyer feels as though you were doing so during the height of the Empire. Every hallway pristine in color, clean, not a scuff on the grounds, not a mark on the grounds. Everybody that walks past you walks with purpose. Nobody's just kind of like lounging around and having lazy conversations. If they are, it's straight backed, it's to the point, and so on and so forth.
Eris approves of all of this. This is like, she likes efficiency.
It is a well-greased engine. There is no peg out of place. So you eventually, after kind of like walking around and taking all this in, I know that Eris is very happy with the sights that she sees. But how about Kuka? How does Kuka absorb all of this?
She doesn't really.
Just kind of like bounces off of her, like,
yeah.
I'm just following her.
Yep.
Okay, cool. So
welcome to the brain of Kuka, straight up. Just like, what's Eris doing? Does she need me? Okay.
That's funny. So Kuka is literally just kind of walking around, and things that she sees kind of filters it in and back out because it's not pertinent to her. Awesome. And you know that you're safe as long as you're walking with Eris, so there's nothing worth checking out. Cool.
And they didn't take away Gon, so
they did not. Absolutely
did level this place if I need to.
They did not take away a single one of your weapons or anything when you came on board. Nobody's even searched your bodies. Nobody's done any of that stuff. So you guys are free reign. You, like I said, take the scenic route, and eventually you come aboard the deck where you'll meet up with your supplies and then go meet with Rebecca. Rebecca herself, she actually has a considerable sized office. This is her office where you can go and meet with her. So in a specific deck of the ship, she has like almost like a welcoming room where it's a very large room. It has a large glass window, or the type of glass that they have, window that overlooks out into space. Off of this, there are a couple of other offices or storage facilities that come off of here, and then there's her specific office. So when you're heading this direction, do you actually, Maggie, do you surprise her with going directly to her with this stuff, or do you give her a heads up I'm coming to you now? She knows what's going on the ship, but you know what I mean, for timing.
Yeah. I'll just provide updates. Probably not via like voice, but like recorded messages.
Sure.
Like a hologram message that's like, we're bringing the packages your way.
Yep. So you're not being a douche. You're intentionally, because you're about to be a douche. You're intentionally letting her know, like, we're here. Cool. So you guys make your way to the place, and when she actually meets with you, she'll meet you in that welcoming room. So the door opens up, and you see her standing there. And as I said beforehand, she's not a particularly like attractive person. She's very plain looking, but very well put together. She is very pursed. You know what I mean? If she's this way normally, you honestly don't know, because every interaction you've had with her for so long now has been so curt that she's this way specifically when she's dealing with you at all points in time. So it's, again, very, very pursed. Or the way she stands, everything about her. And you can clearly tell that even her outfit is on point. It is perfection. So when she's is standing there, she's intentionally giving somebody some very, very important orders as you're walking in. And so the door opens up, you guys walking in. She's literally just finishing giving them orders. She's like, and I need that taken care of immediately. And the person's like, of course. And then turns and walks off. And then she turns to have her attention towards you. And she's like, oh, welcome to my offices. How is it I can... And she kind of like trails off when she sees the two of you walking in, and packages upon packages upon packages being carted in behind you.
Eris is already like just grinning and walks in as she like watches her interactions. And you know I'm here. I like what you did with your hair.
Thanks, and your tails, they look great. Do you polish those? They always have a nice sheen to them. No, really, the way the light dances off of them as they flop around behind your head.
We're charming ourselves today, are we? What is it you want?
Well, you've brought what I've asked for, and so thank you. I genuinely appreciate that. We had discussed the 15,000 credits. Those were transferred to you as soon as your ship passed docking inspections.
And the extra 1,000?
I forgot to bring that to Mariari. I will have to do so next time I speak with her. Unfortunately, she's not on the vessel right now, so when she comes back from her business trip over in Coruscant, then I imagine I can mention it to her then.
I'm going to pull up my pad and send her a message.
Mariari?
No, specifically Rebecca as a reminder. It's like a reminder email.
It's like while you're standing right in front of her, okay, here's a Google notification right there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious. So you do that, and the whole while she actually will look down at Kuka, and she'll give Kuka a smile. She's never met Kuka before, because when you've had these dealings in the past, you've never really had to bring Kuka aboard. You do most of your correspondences through your holo transmitters. So she actually looks down at Kuka, and she'll say, hi, it's a pleasure to meet you. I've heard about you before, I believe. Are you Kuka?
Am Kuka.
She'll actually take like 2 steps forward because she had a bit of a distance, and she'll bend down a bit because you are short, and she extends her hand to shake yours. This isn't a firm, strong, business-like hand grip. It's one of those kind of like looser, sideways hand grips.
Kuka smells it first and then shakes her hand.
I imagine that's not super strange to her, but there's definitely like if Eris is looking at her face, whereas Kuka is clearly looking at the hand, you see there is a small reaction to that. So, and then Kuka grabs the hands, and she says, it's a pleasure to meet with you, Kuka. From what I understand, you're doing incredible things in the favor of Mariari.
Am gun.
Well, you keep up that good work, and maybe we can actually pull you out from certain levels of mid-management and give you more direct contact.
And she just like looks up at Eris and then looks at the lady and scowls.
Like, don't worry, you will be generously compensated for all of the things that you do. So you've received your... Oh, thank you for that notification. So you've received your funds. You've delivered your packages. Are you waiting for more work?
If you have more work for me, otherwise I'm sure I can occupy myself.
Well, I suppose before we press on to anything else, you did mention in your initial reports that you found out a little bit of extra detail pertaining to these packages and their ownership. Could you please share that?
What are you willing to give me in return?
Well, it's not me that you're giving that information to, is it really? It's Mariari.
Well, it's you to start with.
I'm acting as a mouthpiece, just like you're acting as a whatever appendage you might be. So why don't we...
Well, as a mouthpiece, maybe put that mouth to use and figure out what you can get me in return for the information. Information doesn't come cheap these days. And you, of all people, should know that. Aren't you kind of the messenger of information?
This sounds like a negotiate as opposed to a coercion.
Oh,
do you
for
agree
sure.
with that? Okay, give me...
Yeah, I think it could go either way. I'm done with the negotiation.
So she's actually good at negotiating in general. I don't know if you remember that from your original role against her, but I'm actually going to use, because I'm a big meanie pants here, a dark side point, which is going to enhance it. So I'm going to give myself an upgrade. And you can roll. This is a mean roll. Sorry.
Yeah, and I'm not going to use my force on her or anything like that.
This time.
This time. And we'll just roll a good old negotiation.
And you succeed!
Very nice.
Are you kidding me? It was 2 purples and a red, and I gave an upgrade.
I know, that's
so.
2 reds. That's insane.
Oh, God.
Cora, dude.
But I told you,
Jesus.
I'm good at that stuff. So.
You're really good. Oh, my God.
It's not what I'm the best at, but I'm not terrible at it.
She doesn't roll her eyes or anything like that, but you can see that her smile gets just a little bit wider. And, you know, her cheeks are just a little bit higher raised. And she's like, you had said that the extra 1,000 would cover the aesthetics of your vessel?
Yes.
I'm sure we have the
Fly an
supplies.
antique after all.
I'm sorry, was it?
I do fly an antique after all.
I'm sure we have all the supplies that you need on hand here. Do you have a crew capable of handling the repairs, or should I divert some of my those under my commands to take care of the task for you?
Although I think Naga would enjoy doing the work. Might be faster if he gets some help.
I'll have that taken care of. The supplies and the labor to finish making sure everything is pristine.
I transfer over the data to her.
She looks it over. The ownership of the actual goods, if I remember correctly, is Trebrin Democry, correct?
Roto Yalan.
Roto Yalan was the actual owner of the vessel that was doing it, but you had also discovered that the person that had caused the wares to be taken in the first place was somebody that was in the service. And this is the gentleman's name that you had written down ages ago. Was Trebrin Democry was the person.
Trebrin Democry, yeah.
Yep.
Yes, Susa worked for him.
Correct.
Yeah.
So she says, these other names, Trebrin, Roto, do they ring any bells to you?
I'll give this one to you for free. I don't know much about Yodo? Is that what his name is?
Roto.
Oh, Roto.
I'll put it in chat for you just so you can see it. I'm sorry.
But Trebrin is one of the generals vying for power. He works kind of as a middleman. No, Susa worked as a middleman for him, right?
Mm-hmm. For Trebrin, correct.
Yeah.
Oh,
I have I know an informant who works as kind of a middleman for him.
Without bogging you down with details that you probably don't even care about, Roto and Trebrin, they're a bit of rivals, and so there's a bit of an upset going on. again, you don't really need that nitty gritty so much as what it is that you can do to help resolve it. This man's name, you said again, the middleman, she says, kind of like looking through the data, trying to find it again.
Susu.
Okay. Susu. He
He's a Surian.
he might be of interest to Miriari. I would actually so much as to say to remove him from the game would be it would have very little benefit, if anything whatsoever. But to acquire him for interrogation, that, on the other hand, might be something that Miriari would appreciate.
Out of character, do I know the whereabouts of Suso?
Unfortunately, you do not. You did not go out of your way to track him because you just cared about the goods at the time.
Okay. But he was on that one planet, right?
Correct.
Okay. Finding one person in this galaxy can take some time.
Oh, absolutely. I imagine it does. That was actually genuine from her. Like, that wasn't even snippy at all.
Yeah, I mean, that was genuine from Eris. What are you thinking? Bring this guy to you?
If you kill him and remove him entirely, Miriari will give you some sort of small reward. Let's say 1,000 credits. If you acquire him and bring him in, the reward will start higher. And if important information is able to be acquired, it'll grow from there.
How can I guarantee I'll get paid if the information is acquired?
She will activate the holo transmitter and say, I'm tasking you, Arisvolo, with the finding... Arisvula, sorry. I'm tasking you, Arisvula, with the discovery of the whereabouts of the man by the name of Suzu, or whatever it is. Suso. And either removing him from the game or bringing him in. One way or the other, you will be compensated, but clearly one far greater than the other. And then she ends like the recording and transmits it over to you.
How much?
I didn't apply this into the recording because I didn't get the sanction from Miriari on this one. But I'm going to tell you at least 1,000 credits for eliminating him. For bringing him in, much more.
How about you get me the exact number? And we'll see where I'm at that point.
I will do the best I can to get that to you quickly, but I only dance to the tune of one instrument.
Eris thinks, imagine something, and then like looks back at her, and she's like, "I like painting that picture." And she kind of puts her hand on Rebecca's face and like lightly touches her jawline and says, "Well, I guess I'll be seeing you later then."
Well, you have at least a few hours to spend while repairs are being done, if not a few days, depending on how well it is that you accomplish your tasks. So I'm sure we'll be bumping into each other from time to time. She gestures towards the door that you came from and says, "And my door is always open. Please feel free to use it."
Eris winks at her, and her Leku kind of like motions, but I'm sure she doesn't know what the motion means.
No.
But Eris does, and looks down at Kuka and says, "How about that milk?" And walks out the door.
Okay. And so you guys can go and grab supplies and stuff. It is literally one of those to get things back up to exactly how you wanted it with the crew that's assisting, so on and so forth. It'd actually be about 2 days worth of repairs. And during those 2 days, you guys can stay on the Star Destroyer, which, to be honest with you, is really comfortable. I mean, you have your own beds on your ship, which is also incredibly comfortable. But like the artificial gravity on your ship, while nice, is nowhere near compared to the quality of artificial gravity you have on a Star Destroyer. You know, and just being able to actually walk off of your ship whenever you want, so on and so forth. It's just, there's a lot of perks to it. So Do you call for the crew to converse about anything at the moment, or do you want to wait until the information comes in?
Yeah, after we come back with all of our supplies and stuff and things are settled, probably in the evening or in the evening before like we do dinner or whatever. I'll kind of call everybody together into the meeting room or the conference room.
Okay. So you call everybody to the conference room. They all arrive, including you there. Mathis, whose name I don't have written there.
Lotris.
Yeah, don't worry, I'll get it.
Mattress, yeah.
I'm just a dummy. Go ahead.
Do I know what Susa looks like? I do, right? Because I talked to him.
You actually never spoke to that gentleman. You actually saw him on a camera.
Oh, I saw him on that's right. So I have the camera footage of him.
Correct.
Because I took all of that shit. I put up on the holodeck in the middle of the table and zoom in on this guy. And I'm like, this is who we're looking for. Susa. Our mission is to attain him and bring him back here.
The footage. Does he look like he's with anybody else? Because I can't remember personally.
No, he's not. He is actually more or less. This is the person that happened to be the Good Samaritan inspector that came by and was like, "There's something illegal happening with this ship. It needs to be detained," and called for like the dock security to come over and look it over and da. And then when the thing was being transported, it never got sent to where it was supposed to go. So,
The Good Samaritan.
It happened to be in the right place at the right time, working for somebody of significance. So you display the image for everybody to see. Kuka's seen it before.
Yeah. So does he worked for the planet that we were on then? He was like...
He works for Trebrin Dinakari.
Gotcha.
One of the generals who's vying for power against Mariari. He kind of works as a middleman. He basically gave the tip that there was something illegal going on, but clearly he works for them. He was in on this.
Like most generals then. Sounds like they have fingers everywhere. Right place, right
Most
time.
smart generals. It's always good to have people on the inside for you.
Maggie, out of the crew, who is, or a smaller number, who isn't involved in this conversation? Out of the shipwide
I
crew.
think probably just the robot. Otherwise, I allow everyone.
Okay. Or expect everyone. Okay.
Yeah, and I guess I'm always just keeping my eye on everyone and seeing if there's anything that looks like if they're being off or weird about it, right?
Yep. Nope. Nobody seems to be off or weird about it. Naga seems to be distracted, but otherwise everybody seems to be fine.
Naga, what's on your mind?
Oh, it's just thinking about the repairs. That's all.
Did the crew not come?
Oh no, I can hear them now. They're working in the ship, just out. It's I'm just here, Captain, because you asked me to be.
If you'd rather be elsewhere, you're welcome to leave.
Just to get things underway. I'll be honest with you. I don't like being on this ship.
It's fair enough.
You're excused.
He immediately gets up, walks over to the door, and then will look back and give like a smile, like a thanks, and then it goes out.
Like he left the crew?
No, he's just leaving to go check on the repairs.
Okay.
Wants to expedite things
I
to get
think
the fuck out of here.
he wants to make sure that they're not like slacking or messing something up.
He's a Trandoshan on an Imperial vessel.
Yeah.
He's been made a slave. His people have been slaved and murdered by Empire for all of his life, probably.
So, like, my people are always fucking slaves.
Yep,
Also,
that is true.
they never have enough Twi'leks in movies. We're slaves. Why are there not more of us? I don't understand.
You're expensive slaves. Mike,
Improper
you're Mike.
representation.
Did my mic...
You're loud, yeah.
Yeah.
God, stupid.
I'm like, why is he yelling at me? I'm sorry, Daddy. I'm sorry.
Hang on.
Oh,
Is that
you
better?
built.
Is that better?
Now you're too quiet.
Now I'm too quiet.
Too quiet.
I prefer that.
How about that? Is that better?
Perfect.
All right, we're going there, baby. All right, good.
Right where I'm sorry.
Right in the middle.
Sorry.
While looking at the footage, and then I'll kind of like look up to you, Eris. Is this coming from up top?
Is what coming from up top?
The order to capture this person.
Not really sure right now. I think Rebecca kind of took it on her own.
Is that who you get your orders from then?
She tends to be the one that sends me on the missions for Mariari. Sometimes Mariari herself contacts me, but...
So we can at least trust that this is going to come from Mariari through Rebecca then.
To some extent. I mean, we won't give them Susa unless... Well, I play the hollow recording that I have of Rebecca.
Just don't want
Until
your
their end of the bargain is complete.
Just don't want your hard work to be credited to her, that's all. If she's... As long as she's not using you.
She wishes.
That's all I need to hear then. Well, I guess once we're out of here, our best bet is to go back to the planet where you first saw him and try and trace his steps best you can.
Sounds good. Maybe we get the information we need first.
I follow your orders, Captain.
Whatever they're trying to get out of him, probably going to be useful for us as well. Especially if Trevin's dealing with him. He probably knows more than, or Trebrin? Trebrin is his name, right?
Trebrin is a...
Yeah, he's one of the generals.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, I don't know. Whatever he knows about Trebrin, we probably need to know as well.
Lotros kind of just leans back and crosses his arms. Kind of lazily gesturing towards the hologram. How long are we here then? When do we leave?
As soon as the repairs are done. Is there anything you need?
Should I anticipate us? This is Beswe. Captain, should I anticipate us heading immediately back to where it is that we came from?
Yes.
You do understand the dangers of that course of action?
Which bit?
Piracy, Captain.
You're afraid that someone is going to try to pirate us.
Well, we did just engage in piracy ourselves. Afraid, no.
But we went to the Star's Edge, right? That was farther away from that planet, right?
Correct, but still within the jurisdiction of the that's still within that system.
There wasn't anybody on that ship, right?
What you kind of did is you took out the transponder immediately, and then took out their so you took out the transponder so they couldn't call out, and theoretically couldn't scan you very well. You took out their engines so that they wouldn't be able to fly anywhere or have any power. You blasted into the hole. Nobody physically saw you because you just took things out of a hole in the side of the wall.
But they know do they know what kind of ship we have?
That all depends on what they were able to pick up before they took out their transponder, and that's a guess. So, you're saying best case scenario, they got nothing. Worst case scenario, they got everything, and anywhere in between that.
Okay.
If you had to gamble on it, they probably got scattered information.
You think they got information on our ship?
I would play it cautiously. It is a planet and moon that's renowned for making some of the state-of-the-art droids, ships, and weapons. And so I wouldn't want to be on their bad side.
So Kuka is she's playing with her cat, right? And she's just looking at playing with him. And she looks over at Eris for a second and looks back at Sierra and is just like, man, get on ship. Man, get gone. Don't fucking worry about it. It's fine.
Well, we should pick up that comms jammer anyway. That's going to be kind of a rare find for us in some capacity.
Yeah, we were inquiring as to whether or not we could find one. I did do a little bit of research for you because you had asked for me to do so. I imagine we actually could get one on Coruscant, which is a small jump from here instead of heading straight back to Lorinar, if you'd like. Coruscant was the epicenter of the Empire, and there were many parts being shipped to there for the Star Destroyers that orbited overhead. I'm sure somebody on the planet, some junker or old dealer, would have a part like that if you were trying to find it.
Sounds good. Anyone else object to that?
No, that sounds like a plan.
Slicer actually for the first time leans forward and says, "Hey, as soon as we get into orbit, I don't mind, looking around and seeing what I can find for you."
Sounds good.
I mean, if you're looking for finding the shitty neighborhood in a halfway decent planet, or at least, it's a what is it, bantha with lipstick? I can climb into that underbelly if you need me to.
Good. On your end, we might also want to figure out what else we would need in order to hack into other ships. Might be useful for us.
Honestly, I think a little bit of a tweak to the transponder that we have on here. The issue, I was looking at this because you said be useful, so I was looking into this, and it's old. I mean, the ship is old. It's beautiful. It's absolutely stunning, but it's old. So if we're dealing with this old technology, we're not going to be able to tap into the newer securities that other vessels are going to have.
What do you need?
Probably it's just a software upgrade, but maybe a little bit of hardware. I don't know if it'll affect the aesthetics. I can try to look into it for you. And he looks over at Bezwi like he did with the jammer.
Do that. That sounds useful. Any information we can get on other ships before we board them, or if we don't have to board them at all, sometimes grabbing their logs is all we need.
I imagine everybody kind of like nods to that, except for Kuka, who is just playing with the kitty.
Well, in that case, if we've got everything covered and no one objects, that'll be our next destination.
I will set up the astrogation coordinates to bring us immediately to Coruscant, and then to bounce from Coruscant over to Lorinar afterwards. We'll try to keep things a little expedient for you. All right, Captain?
Sounds good.
When it kind of seems as though the meeting's adjourned, Bezwi does push back, stand up, and walks out of the room to head immediately to do that. Happy to have a task to do.
Yeah, Eris will probably take her meal into her captain's quarters unless there's anything else unless someone stops her. And
as you're about to walk away, Lotch will be like, Captain, just one request, a minor one. This Rebecca, do you have a last name for her?
I don't know if you ever gave me her last name, but I would assume I would have it.
It's on the character sheet.
I don't think I have it on my sheet.
It's under
Rebecca, but I'm assuming
No.
that I would have her last name.
You do? I'm so sorry. I don't know where it went. I given one to you beforehand. Oh, that sucks because I don't remember what it was. Let me just check my notes over here.
Might be in my notes. Rebecca.
No, because when I gave it to you, I literally gave it to you onto that character sheet.
Yeah, you put it on the character sheet.
Yeah. Oh, that sucks. Okay.
I didn't write it in my notes.
Yeah, and it's funny
I don't
too
think
because
you wrote it, but just give her a good old last name.
what happened was one of the viewers had suggested the name Rebecca and the meme behind it, and so it was. I was like, the last name was inspired by that person's Discord name, but that's okay. I will come up with a name right now.
Okay.
Yeah, I
So assuming
rattle
just
off
you're.
that. Yeah, I
And
rattle off that name.
her rank within the Empire?
Last name's Kotver, Cotver, Kotver.
Kotver.
Her position is taskmaster, is what I have here, but
Correct.
is that what her title is?
No, her actual title would be Handmaiden to Miriari.
Yeah. Okay, I say that, and I'm like, she tends to always be with Mariari, unless.
You just as you're like giving him the name and the title, you just see him like taking notes in a data pad real quick, and once he's done asking you, he'll kind of kick up to his feet and be like, "Appreciate it. I didn't want to disturb you. I hope you enjoy your lunch.
It's dinner.
Or dinner. Sorry, I lose track of time on a ship in space sometimes.
Have you been eating?
Now he kind of like furrows his brow. Actually, I don't remember the last time I actually ate anything. I should eat something.
Yeah, do that.
And you'll see him meander over to the in the area of the kitchen, head that way.
Okay.
Scott, the plan is to research the shit out of Rebecca. I want to know what I can find living family members, friends, that kind of thing, close ties, that anything that I can gather from her while on this ship, either accessing their files if possible or just general research. We'll spend.
You could also work with Visit if you needed to slice anything up.
Yeah. I mean, basically, the plan for Latris is ammo for blackmail.
Yeah, I was just thinking like he could assist you in some of your roles if pending what the role is and how you're going about getting it.
Okay, so you are going to you're more than welcome to do that, of course. You're going to be searching through the HoloNet, so you're going to be doing research for me. So research is going to be a check of, and this is not going to be an immediate thing. This is going to take time. But sorry, Maggie, I just clicked your character sheet. Let me get Mike's.
Oh, that's fine.
Where are you, Mike Hale? Lazarus, there we go. So research is going to be, is it education?
I was thinking it could be computers as well.
Computers are going to be more of the hacking thing, which or the studying thing in computers, which you actually have Visit to do that.
Okay.
I don't think I made a character sheet for Visit yet. So after the session's over, Maggie, if you want to remind me, I'll put that on my list of things to do.
Okay.
After I'm done finishing setting up my Witcher game. So
oh yeah, you made one for Bez and Naga. I didn't realize that.
Oh yeah. Those ones were actually designed by viewers. So well, they were inspired by viewers, so I made them. So I have full-fledged character sheets. So anyway, so yeah, you would make for me an education check to find out about her. Now I will tell you that this is going to be a difficult task because of the fact that her information is going to be a bit guarded.
Yeah.
You can do it in 2 checks. The first one's going to be the basic information. The second one's going to be the more difficult stuff.
Okay.
So why don't you make me your first education check?
All right, I'll do a basic roll then on this one. All set for that?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Nice.
So you do find out her first and last name. You find out that she happens to come from a family that had served the Empire before, but nobody of great renown. But there is a history of serving the Empire before. She had joined after the Empire had already disbanded. She had joined on with Mariari and has served Mariari exclusively for a long period of time. You don't know exactly how old she is, but you're guessing she would have joined on with Mariari at a fairly young age, late teens, early 20s, something like how Eris is doing it right now.
Okay. Yeah, so she's been with Mariari for a while.
For years. So, but anything beyond that, beyond the most basic of information, you do not have it. Okay. So let's bring us to the difficult check. So this is and do you want to roll for that one?
Yeah, I'm gonna use a light. Though I know we only have one, but I'm gonna use a light side point. Oh, we had 2 now apparently. Oh, because Scott's using a dark side point. So cool. Sure, I'll just upgrade my dice since then I'll assume you'll upgrade your own.
Correct.
All right, ready?
Go right ahead, so fire away.
Beautiful.
Dark side points don't matter today. So anyways, you actually do a little bit more research, and this is going to be you working in conjunction with Visit. After you find out all this boring information, basic background stuff, and stuff like that, you try to find out more on the HoloNet, kind of hit stone walls, little bits of information here that have nothing crazy. You then ask Visit to just open some doors for you. You can handle the research once the door is open. And so happy to have a task more than just finding a way to upgrade a ship, which is totally not something he's good at all. He does actually go about hacking into a couple of areas that you discern to be important. What you find out is that her family, as I had said prior, did work for the Empire. She actually had 4 siblings that all worked for the Empire even after its collapse. Every single one of them, as the Empire was kind of scrambling and trying to hold on to its power, every single one of her siblings has all died. The only one that didn't die was specifically her, because she was actually saved by Mariari for reasons that you actually aren't able to discover. She has been a loyal servant to Mariari for a very, very long time, and you honestly think that she would never waver in her dedication to her. However, in the actions to make things successful for Mariari along the way, she's had to take certain liberties. So sometimes she will, it'll be one of those things where Mariari has like a way of going about doing tasks. She's very blunt in your face, very much how you imagine a former stormtrooper going about doing things. This woman tries to be cunning and tries to manipulate situations, but genuinely isn't very cunning and genuinely isn't very charismatic either. She's just
Rebecca?
Correct. Rebecca just has the brute force of the name that she throws around left and right that makes things accomplished for her. Because she's not very bright and because she's not very charismatic, she often leaves behind trails of people that have a sour taste in their mouth from dealing with her. That trail actually is a bit varied and even goes as far as to she's pissed off 2 different Hutt families along the way. I can get you those names later on. She's pissed off 2 different Hutt families along the way. She's pissed off a small group of bounty hunters that they've hired. You know, of course, the dripping venom that comes pouring out of Eris's mouth every time she has to refer to the woman. Mm-hmm. As well as over on Coruscant, there are, right now, the Senate is trying to kind of like pull itself back together. There are a good number of politicians down on the Coruscant itself that are not happy with the way she handles them.
So it would be fair to say she uses Mariari's name as her one and only bargaining chip, in a way, for the most part.
Much like you would use a fucking sledgehammer to break an Oreo cookie. I imagine he's tippity tapping away.
It's all in the notes.
Yep, cool, awesome.
That's what I'm doing. Okay.
Nope, you're fine. So that's what you're able to discover. But again, this isn't like a quick thing. Mm-hmm. You'll actually probably finish gathering this information around when you're docking on Coruscant.
Okay, cool.
So
that's what my character
traveling.
So like while we're here, then you don't see hide nor hair, even less so of Lotris than usual. He probably sneaks out, grabs a ton of food, heads back to his room, shuts the door, and like seals it as he just buries himself in research.
Okay.
Eris
Eventually,
did not even notice. She spends most of her time in her captain's quarters anyway.
Similar.
It's lots of emo music.
We're all like a bunch of like angsty teenagers.
I'm actually very, very pleasant.
Like,
I'm a very pleasant
in our own space.
I'm very pleasant to talk to. He just he gets consumed by books very easily. And Kuka's not really a conversationalist either, so.
I imagine Kuka just sits outside of her door and just enjoys listening to the sounds muffled coming through of like Taking Back Sunday or something.
She's spent most of her time in the escape pod, actually, just like playing with Syrah, now that she has Syrah. But before, she would probably have had a post outside of
Get out of there.
The store.
What are you doing?
He's yelling at your cat. Whoa, Kuka. Lotris is yelling at your cat. Like, what are you doing? Don't piss in the books. Get out of here.
Gone.
I'll do it.
I don't know if it's Freudian that she
stacked
spent
on top of 2 other boxes.
You need to show us Cat.
I don't know if it's Freudian that you spend all your time in an escape pod when you have an overbearing lord.
He's
there,
so cute.
All right, let's continue.
So, anyways, you guys eventually get the word back from her, but not before you actually depart from the dock. You start heading towards Coruscant. It's actually on your travel to Coruscant, which is not, it's literally the next system over on a major route. So it's on your travel to Coruscant that you actually receive the communique with her. So she opens the communications with you. Because she's calling you, you can actually have the first word if you'd like.
I answer, and I'm like, Eris Vula speaking. Nice to see you, Rebecca. You have the information I was looking for?
I do. She actually looks a little. You can actually see a little bit of shame in her face as she says this, and she says, "I do. I did speak to Mariari about this, and she's very interested in the task. However, let me put it like this: if you are able to acquire him and bring him in for questioning, the rates that you will receive will be 15,000 credits for his acquisition. If the information is pertinent that we can acquire from him, the value will go up drastically from there, depending on what we're able to acquire. So you have to understand that you would not be receiving that, we'll call it a bonus, immediately. You'd be receiving that after the analysis is complete."
We'll see what I can do. You know me. I tend to deliver. And a wink.
But if you are to simply remove him from the game, the words she chose, I think perhaps you would be best not to look to her for work for a little while.
I don't think that was ever an option.
So she says, so then we have an agreement.
It was even silly for you to recommend that. I knew Mariari wouldn't agree to it anyway.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was trying to help you with the scraps that you require to keep your antique ship plucking along.
Coming from someone who clearly knows nothing about ships. If you did, well.
Oh, you mean I wouldn't be in one that's state of the art? You're right. You have yourself a safe travel. Have fun fetching that for me. Thank you.
Someone will be fetching something for someone.
Then you end communication.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna send her like a little hologram of a mouse and a cat.
Ah. Oh, that's funny. Is it a cat that we know all too well?
Yeah.
Awesome. So then you guys finish your travel over to Coruscant. As you guys are approaching, Bezwi, as always, takes care of all like the easy stuff of being able to land the vessel. When he does land the vessel, he initially intends to, unless you wish otherwise, he intends to land the vessel in one of the better areas of Coruscant. Now remember, Coruscant as a planet is completely covered in city. With the exception of a few areas that have open water, and they're very, very small because the pollution is so great. Open water just means polluted water. It is layers upon layers of city, underground and above ground. So he goes to one of the regions of Coruscant that are nicer, not like,
Yeah,
oh my God, this is pristine.
I don't think Eris will have a problem with that, since what we're coming onto the planet for is specifically equipment of some sort. But unless there's a no, I think that'll be fine.
Okay, so you guys are able to land the ship, and this is a much slower procedure than it was when you're kind of like going in and out of many of the other docks beforehand, because you are in like a higher security area. But so you do land your ship, everything's going well. Mathis, around when Eris is kind of like when Eris is calling, like, hey, who's coming along, like kind of pulling the party together. This is when like that'll be the distraction that like pulls you out of the reading that you were doing, and sure, you could read a little bit more, but you think you've pretty much come across everything that you will at this point.
Was I able to get the names of the politicians on Coruscant or no?
You were actually able to do that, and I'm going to toss those names your way during the break.
Okay, cool. So you want to take a break now?
Yeah. Why don't we do that? Because that makes it a little bit easier. And, people like to pee.
Yeah, I got to pee real bad, actually.
I feel like it has not been that long.
It has been a solid hour, but,
It just doesn't feel like it.
Yeah. It's, when you get into a character that you enjoy playing, you're like focused on that character, time just like flies by. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I know that time's really flying by for Doxy here because she's so in the Kuka zone.
She just she doesn't have much to say most of the time, man. Like when she's fighting, she'll have one-liners and stuff, but she's a pretty simple gal.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll be back in a few minutes, guys. Don't go anywhere. All right, welcome back, everybody. Hour 3, General's Directive Week 4. Scott looks incredibly baffled.
Yeah, it's just the dice roll character sheet was not functioning. There we go. Now it is.
Okay, cool.
It was only showing half of it.
Oh,
Not how
weird.
big I made it. It was weird. So, all right, sorry about that. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. Here we
Hi.
go. Awesome. We got to make you guys roll more dice so I can use more dark side points. Let's make this happen. You know what I mean?
Sometimes you get roleplay heavy episodes, man. That's all.
Yeah, I like roleplay heavy, but
Me
let's
too.
roll some dice while role playing. You know, let's role play. You know,
I mean, I rolled. We've been rolling.
I rolled a few rolls already too.
I haven't rolled anything yet.
Hey,
Kuka never really rolls on she can roll to pet.
Yeah.
I know of a experimental
Coordination.
surgeon. He works on one of the backwater worlds, but brain transplants are possible. If you want something, if you want a body with a smarter brain, Kuka. All right, just throwing it out there.
Goes back to petting her cat.
Oh, she looks so offended.
Well, I'm not even
How
sure.
much she's offended though.
I was gonna
because
say-
she has like a gas mask on and like a hood.
And Galachus
eyes.
is probably not even sure that she even understood what the hell he was talking about.
You can see her brow ridge between her two pairs of goggles, right? And it
Ugh.
furrows. Like,
The goggles just slightly like
yeah.
Go to the medical droid. Hey, can
yeah.
you brain surgeon? Do you know brain surgery? Just
the droid. I know the basic functions of brain surgery. How to return trauma from a severely injured victim of brain trauma. Sorry. How to repair the brain when it's suffered severe brain trauma, and how to apply that trauma to interrogate.
could be useful actually. Thanks. And I just will leave it at that. It's like, all right, go away.
It, like
Did
watches
you go
you walk
into the
out the
medical
door.
bay to talk to the medical droid?
Yeah, just ask him a question.
Oh, okay.
The medical bay, by the way, is looking fantastic.
Great.
Did we get that
Got
door
cleaned up
replaced?
and Naga didn't have to do it.
I imagine it was they worked together.
A joint effort.
Yeah. So you guys are leaving your. So like I said, you dock. Eris, I imagine you call to the crew like you typically do, like, hey, who's coming with me on this job, or to dictate who's going to be coming with if there are people that you feel are necessary. So you kind of like do that call.
Everyone gets 973 credits.
Kuka doesn't understand money.
Maggie, don't worry about paying NPCs.
Oh, don't?
No.
Okay. Well, that changes a lot.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things where I will apply costs to the ship, and that'll include costs of NPCs.
Okay.
Okay.
Everyone gets 1,875 then.
Keep Kuka's. Because Kuka doesn't get, like, everything that she's ever needed, you've provided for her. Like, she never owned anything before you. And anything that she's ever...
I imagine that Eris still
she's
puts it like
taken.
in like a bank account for you. Like it's
Okay.
still like an account. It's a separate account, but it's like for Kuga.
So we're
Yeah,
looking
coup
for
count.
Okay.
a coup count. Ha. Actually, Maggie,
A
did
coup
you?
count.
That's such a small number. Did you keep most of that as like a party fund?
I did 7,500 is the ship fund.
Perfect. Awesome.
So I basically always split it in half, and the half is the ship fund.
That sounds good. So I can beat you up left and right and not have to worry about it.
Do you want me to keep track of the coup count?
It's up to you if you want to. So it'd be
I
1,000.
totally can.
Okay, 1,875.
Yeah, Doxy, just because Kuka doesn't do it doesn't mean you don't have to do your work. So
Oh,
Work it,
no,
girl.
no, totally. It's not about not doing work. It's about, like, she just doesn't get it. Like,
Yeah.
when she wants things, she takes them, or Eris provides them for her.
Yeah,
Oh,
and I guess
no.
anytime Eris gets you something, just you can mark off the cost on that.
We'll do.
on your end.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep. We'll do.
Completely get Kuka's perspective, just making sure it's not Doxy being lazy,
Fair enough. That's fair.
Just kidding. All right. So you
I don't know
guys,
if there's a way for me to track the ship's income anywhere.
if you actually go under, I don't want to, where's your character sheet? So if you actually go under, if you go into group sheet, there might be amount of money there.
Ooh, group credits. Yeah, I see it now. It doesn't let me edit. Oh, here.
Yep. And then petty cash and stuff like that. So
Okay.
there's also a group name because you can name your crew. What do you want?
Ooh.
The Saragossa, whatever, right?
Sure, yeah, because that's the name of the actual vehicle. So you guys land. Yeah, Maggie, whatever it is that you say, you call the crew to be like, hey, who's coming with? Obviously, Kuka's coming with. Um, uh, Visit is going to come with you as well because he said that he would do so. And I imagine this is when Lotch just kind of like pulls his head out of his ass and has all this information in his head, and he can kind of come out to join you guys too.
Yep.
So
on the way out, I will send notifications to each and every politician's office where they're receptionists or whatever, poising a potential meeting if they're willing to have one. And I'll be more real about who I am. I'm not going to say I'm associated with Eris in any way because I'm not under their employ. I'm more technically an advisor, quote unquote. But more as a scholar of ancient knowledge, that kind of thing. And I just want to see if I can get a meeting with them.
So what I'm going to have you do to roll this is, because it's not like when you craft something that's well written, it's less about charisma and more about like poise and whatnot of the actual like of the writing, and it's knowing like proper procedures and sending it to the correct channels so that it actually gets to them beyond just like sitting on a secretary's desk and then being thrown into a shredder, right? So I'm actually going to have you roll a core worlds check. I'm going to have you do one roll for all of them. And so various degrees of success will kind of handle this for you.
Okay.
It's not easy, but it's also not impossible by any stretch. So you're welcome to make that roll, but I'm going to, of course, make it more difficult for you.
Why'd I say Lotris flips? I haven't decided yet,
me.
homie.
That was me. Sorry.
But now that I know, I'll even that out and just do that.
All right, give me 1 second. I applied stuff to your character sheet.
Oh, yeah, all right, I see it.
You don't see anything that didn't happen there. You don't know what you're rolling against.
Also, we should have 2 light side points now, not 3, or not 1.
No, back to 1 because he just spent 1.
Yeah, he spent 1.
You spent a dark side point at the same time.
I spent 3 dark side points in a row, is in total, and 2 light side points were spent. So you guys still have 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
Every time he's used one, I've used one in return to negate it. So it stays.
Okay, got you.
So, all right, you're good to go. Oh, are you kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me right now? Wow. And how many contacts did you have?
5.
I have the best crew ever. Just,
So you're going to get through to 5 of them.
All 5? Sweet.
Sorry, so you're going to get through to 4 of them.
Okay.
My apologies. Could you do me a favor? Roll me a d6.
Sure.
If you roll a 6, you actually get through all 5. Okay, 4. So number 4 is who you do not get through to.
Uggins Kolko.
Oh, sorry. I'm just looking at them. There we go. So, yeah. So the Syrian is who you do not get through to. Okay. So more or less, as you guys are walking around today, eventually we'll deal with that later on. So
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to be with them until I have to go.
So what you see, Eris, is Lotris comes out to join you as well as Kuka and Visit. And as you guys are getting off the ship, Lotris is actually very distracted, kind of like hammering away on his data pad, setting up some sort of messages or whatever that he's sending out there. But you guys go into the great city beyond. This is, of course, Coruscant. The entire planet is a city. It's not a very small planet. So where is it that you guys are heading to? What's your immediate goal from here, boss lady?
I think we're primarily, 2 different people are looking for equipment, right? We're looking for the jammer stuff. The other thing is looking for software or potentially hardware that will help us intercept data from another ship as we pass by.
Okay.
And I guess if we can, I mean, we won't find any information on Susa here probably, so we don't need to bother with that until we get to the next planet.
So why don't we go do shopping first, since that seems to be the thing that we're focusing on.
I might not even have to get off the ship for that, but I guess I will look for some liquor that I can bring back.
Oh, yeah, that as well. Yeah. Okay, gotcha. So for the specifically the shopping portion, so you want to get the jammer is a big thing that you want to do. I'm actually looking at my database right now for
more
each
milk for the cat.
Here,
Ira.
for for the details for a jammer. Give me 1 second to try to find that for you. Because this stuff is countermeasures suite. I'll try to countermeasures suite. That's funny. That makes me think of. Did anybody here ever see the movie The Big Hit? It's not a very good movie, but it came out in I think '99 or 2000 with Mark Wahlberg. Oh, and it's like this is the Buster. This is the Buster. It's the Buster. Anyways, so you guys are going out there looking for the my apologies, the jammer. And so you are going to be able to find one. That's not a big deal. So when you go looking for an area that's going to carry a jammer, and it's specifically, if you want one that's specifically going to function for the ship, you're going to have to go to an antiquity shop as opposed to one that has that just functions, correct?
Yeah, I would assume.
Okay, so you go to the, because you can just get one that functions. So you go to the antiquity shop to have a conversation with the person that's there. So the person that's running this shop is actually going to be a Celestin. And so when you go walking in, the shop is actually very, very, very well kept. I mean, there's no real dirt on the floor beyond like just basic daily travel kind of stuff. The shelves are all put together. Everything's in its place. There's kind of like different sections that you can easily walk through. This so when I say there's aisles, I mean, this isn't like an automotive store. Some of these parts are ginormous, right? So it's very high ceilings, very large areas to kind of walk up and down and find these parts. Now, when I say an antiquity store, this antiquity store doesn't just carry parts for ships. It also carries like old droids and stuff like that as well. It carries a lot of old things, but not like blasted and like kept and clean. So when you go walking in, immediately you do not see anybody. But at some point in time, about 30 seconds after you walk in the door, a Celestin comes walking up to you guys. And he's like, "Oh, hello. It's a pleasure to meet you."
Hi, we're looking for a specific item. I kind of did anyone else join us who did
Is it?
Naga or not Naga, Bezwi?
No, not unless you ask him to. He will do anything you ask.
Okay. I would assume that they would have come with, but
Then he'll come with.
yeah, because I would want to confirm that it's what he needs.
Sure.
He'd be the expert at it. And I kind of look over at him.
So kind of like seeing you just look over to him, Bezwi takes a step forward. It's one of those when you look to him, he has purpose with a step forward. Then he's very businesslike and almost bored always. And so he's like, we came because we're looking for a jammer for our vessel. Now, it's not just any jammer that we can plug in and make work. We have to be flying a very particular vessel. It is an ancient ship. Are you familiar with the Fury class? And what is it actually called? Oh, I don't have it up in front of me. Maggie, you get the name in front of you?
Yes, I do. It is Fury Class Imperial Inceptor.
With the Fury class Imperial Inceptor that was flown somewhere around 3,000 years ago. And he's like, I believe I do have a couple of parts that work for that type of vessel. I'll have to check my inventory for it. And so we're looking for something that's going to act as a comms jammer. When interfering with other ships, you understand how complicated it can be if somebody that you are on a bit of a skiff with, they're able to communicate too well with one another. Yes, well, let me go in and check my inventory. Please come with me this way. And so he's walking with you guys, and it is a long walk to get over to where a terminal is that he can acquire his inventory. And he does say, looking back, as Ariston seems to be the one that's in charge, looking back to her, he says, "How did you acquire such a wonderful ship? You're awfully young."
It's funny what people will bargain these days.
He says that and stops asking questions. Like, that's not an answer I was happy to hear. And so he goes over to the thing, kind of looks through the inventory for a little bit, and he says, I do have one that you'd be able to use. It's not cheap, however.
How much is not cheap?
4,500 credits.
Make that 4,000 credits. You have a deal.
Roll me let me just set it up for you so it's not too difficult. Okay, Okay, so he is a merchant, so it's not super easy. Roll me a negotiations check, please.
All right, cross your fingers, everyone.
Aw.
It's a flat failure.
Yep.
So that's good because nothing bad happened. And he goes, the acquisition of these things is not very easy. The upkeep of them to make sure that they do not rust over time and components do not break down is not easy either, especially one of that age. It requires certain atmospheric composition to stop the things from breaking down on you. So I'm sorry, but unfortunately, we're going to have to stick at the 4,500 credits.
I look over at Bez, kind of like,
Bez looks back and says, perhaps we should see its condition first, Captain. If the condition's good, then it's probably a fair price. If it's a bit beat up, might as well stop wasting our time here and see one of his competitors, even if it is from a less savory neighborhood. He says, eyes kind of rolling over towards Visit.
yeah. I look over, and I'm like, well, show us the item and we'll see if it's worth.
He does bring you over to where it is stored. It's not a small component, but definitely one that can be transported by hand if need be. Most likely, they'll just have it delivered to your ship. So he, when he brings you over there, who has the mechanics check to look this over?
I would assume Bezwe.
Bezwee's not a mechanic, but he does have a
Naga,
natural.
right?
I roll 4 green.
Naga is the one, but he didn't come for this. He's on the ship.
I have a big fat 0. It would be hilarious if Kuka knew about it.
Well, I was specifically trying to bring somebody who would know about it. That's why I was trying to bring them.
Oh, Bezwee knows about the part and all that stuff, but not necessarily the quality of the condition of parts. Just he's not a mechanic. He just did his research. He read Consumer Digest for a long time, but he's not a mechanic himself.
Yeah,
Can we send an image over to Naga to see what he thinks?
It's not a terrible idea. What you can do is you can run a scan the device, because you guys do have some pretty high quality stuff on you. You can scan the device and send a hollow display of it over to him. I imagine you tell the shop owner that you're going to do this.
Oh yeah, I would assume we would do that. I can RP it if you want.
Sure, go ahead.
Mind if we scan this and send it over to our engineer? He'd know best.
Sure. We are looking at other parts, so sure.
I kind of nod at Kuka, and so Kuka can run around and scan it if Kuka wants.
Okay. And when you send it over, more or less, this is going to be Mike. You can make this roll with a blue die coming from Naga.
Okay.
And give me 1 second to set up the check for you. Okay. Is a mechanics check, sir?
Failure.
Failure with a lot of advantage. So kind of looking it over, as far as you can tell, everything seems to be perfectly. Is there wear and tear on it? Is it a little bit beat up because of the years? Sure, absolutely, of course. But does it look like everything's functioning, so on and so forth? Yes.
All right. I relay that information then. It looks like it works. Age is showing, but that's expected. Seems to be functioning.
Well, it seems like you have a deal then. And I kind of, whatever the proper way is, if I transfer it or I toss him credits, whatever works.
We'll hold back on the toss of credits at the moment because while you guys were doing that scan, which took a little bit of time, he did work with Visit to look over the details of getting the actual thing to get the rest of your ECM suite fully up and functioning and so on and so forth. So the cost for that is to do a full overhaul would be 2,000 credits for a little bit of hardware and a lot of software to kind of get this up to date because he does have components. So it's one of those things where they kind of talk back and forth and then Visit will actually relay the information to you. He says, hey, Cap, so I did chat with him a little bit about getting things up online for what you were asking about beforehand. Honestly, I do kind of trust his opinion on this because he does have other parts of this kind of vessel, as you know. So I'm thinking he does know his shit when it comes to this. He's telling me 2,000 credits, though, to get us everything that we need. But we're going to have to install it ourselves. That doesn't come with an install.
How much time do you think it'll take you to install it?
Honestly, I wouldn't even begin to know. I'm sure if Naga and I put our heads together after we get it there, we can give you an accurate time. But I would even I couldn't tell you right now. I'll make it my top priority for you.
Since we're installing it ourselves, and we're also purchasing multiple goods, what do you say dropping it 500 for us?
You're actually going to take an upgrade from all the advantage that Mike had rolled beforehand. He can toss that to you if you'd like. I'm going to roll. There you go. You can apply yourself an upgrade. You do have a light side point if you care to. I'm not putting a dark side on this one.
Okay.
Ooh, good image.
So I put the upgrade myself.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to spend a light point. And we'll do a
Negotiation.
little negotiation. Let's see how this goes. Not so good.
Oh, whoa, hold on.
That's many a purple in a row.
Maggie, that is my mistake. I did the same thing as before. I put it on your character sheet I just did to Mike. Dice pulls over here. So sorry about that.
Not an upgrade, right?
Okay, you're good now. You can do your...
Can you give me a blue, not an upgrade, right?
No, you're getting an upgrade, not a blue. I didn't see a
Okay.
blue on your roll. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
So sorry about that. You can roll now.
Okay. I was like, I failed bad.
No. He's not that good. Okay, you succeed very well. So he agrees. He'll let you save that 500, so it's a clean 6K that you're spending to get all the components, and you guys will just have to do the install over on your own ship.
It was minus 1,500 instead of 2,000. We spent a lot of money, guys.
Yep. And he'll get things sent over to your ship by the end of the today's business. So then this actually spends a few hours trying to find the location of this place, coming in, looking around, negotiating. It's not like you just walk in to look at a part, right? Like I said, it takes a long time. The scanning took time. So it's actually many hours, this whole process. And so as the hours are kind of waning and Lotris is like bored out of his tree because he came along for this, but he did assist in some way. Lotris, eventually you get like a ping on your data pad. And the first response you get is actually from the politician by the name of Mias Favusa.
Okay, the Bothan. Got it.
Correct. And pings back more or less. You say, so remind me what it was that you had put into your message to her.
Basically, I mean, it's basically kind of a blanket, not a blanket email. They've been personalized for each one, but the idea of trying to get them together under a meeting.
Dear YouTuber.
Yeah, so many of those. Basically, an email to get them together to have a meeting with them under the it's not a guise, but under the assumption that I'm there to speak with them as a scholar of ancient history, and I have some inquiries for them about Coruscant and its role in the Galactic Republic pre-Empire rising of the Empire.
Is that really a guise?
Well, I mean, it's a guise in that it's my hook to get them, but it's not my intent, my full intent to do that.
Okay.
You're
so
being deceptive.
Yeah, deceptive, but truthful, because I'm actually going to talk to them about the history of the planet at first, and then I'll use my way into the conversation that I want.
Okay. As I respond, I just want to give you a heads up. Your sounds did get thrown off a little bit for me again.
Again? I didn't do anything.
It's not that you're necessarily that much louder, a little bit louder, but the quality certainly dropped off.
Changed your computer, right? Go to audio options and then test computer and mic and make sure that you have all the appropriate things.
How about we do...
And untick.
Also, if you just
How
installed
about that? Does that sound good? Sound okay?
Zoom, double check that you go into audio options and turn off auto adjust.
Oh yeah, that was the first thing I did.
That's exactly what I was talking about.
Yeah, it's not on.
What Doxy just said, you can do that under the Windows 10 as well. That little speaker in the bottom right-hand corner of your Windows screen. You can right-click that, open your mixer, open those different options and do it there too.
Yeah.
So sorry, Mike's new to Windows 10, and everybody knows that new Windows are hard to learn. It's like,
whoop! I just lost all sound. Hello? Oh, god damn it. Now everything's gone. I can't hear anyone. Fuck! Fuck! I can't hear anybody. All sound on my computer just disappeared. I know you can hear me, but I can't hear anyone. Oh. Oh, you dumb computer. Oh my god, I'm so mad. All right, let me try disabling
Doesn't
and
like it, but
enabling.
she doesn't shank him either.
I was gonna say.
I hear you again. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Welcome
All right,
back.
that worked. I can hear you
You
again.
totally didn't get stabbed.
Great.
You see a robot in the distance, and you hear them say, "Activating
Great.
combat sequence."
I'm so excited.
Mike,
Dead.
you're leaned forward a little bit. Sit in your normal spot and talk normally.
Hello.
Perfect.
Yeah, you sound normal again.
Okay. I just don't know. Does Windows 10 auto adjust microphone settings?
It
It will
does.
if you don't turn it off. Yeah.
Exactly, which is why I had said to go to that little area before.
I opened the volume mixer. That doesn't show me what I need.
No, it's troubleshoot sound. Nope, it's open sound settings.
All right. Let me right
pretty sure
click.
it's over there.
Open sound settings. Okay.
And then in here,
App volume and device preferences, maybe.
I mean, speaker, device properties. What did I do for input? Test your mic. No, troubleshoot. How the fuck do I do this? I don't remember.
Windows 10 is a very invasive virus. I agree, chat. I was rolling with Windows 8 before, though.
Volume mixer. How did I do this beforehand? Where I
You go
actually
to
was able to.
recording, you go to your microphone.
Yes, what she's saying. That sounds correct.
Wait. Under what, though?
Okay, so
So-
just right click on the little
I found it.
speaker icon.
Okay. I see open sound settings. I'm assuming I'm popping that.
Yeah. Advanced.
No.
No, I'm not popping that.
No, when you right click, you're going to press open volume mixer.
Open volume mixer. Yeah. Okay.
Then under applications, you're going to see sound systems. Click on that actual like little camera, little icon of the.
Got it. Recording. Okay. There's my microphone.
There you go.
Properties.
I believe so. From there, yeah.
Under listen. Levels. Advance.
No, listen to me, okay? This
All right.
is what you're gonna do.
I'm following. Okay. Guide me. I'm starting from scratch. Here we go.
You're gonna right click on the speaker
Yeah.
icon in your task tray
Mhm.
thingy. And then you're gonna go to sounds, click on sounds,
Okay.
then go to the recording tab, select
Okay.
your default microphone,
Mm-hmm.
hit properties,
Mm-hmm.
go to advanced,
Mhm.
untick allow applications to take exclusive control.
Oh, that's what it is. Okay.
That,
It
that
has
was
been
my-
applied. Do I sound
That was my
any
next
different?
step.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was actually there, and I was like, "It's all gone. Start again."
Sorry, I was lost.
No, it's okay. I'm good. We're good. It's done. Stupid fucking Windows 10, man.
All roads lead to Rome. That's all that matters.
Exactly. All right.
I trust that we'll get there.
So what happens next? I got the ping from her, from the Bothan.
Yes. Okay. So this is Mias. So Mias responds saying, "I'm genuinely intrigued with what it is that what it is that you have to offer. There is in fact a bit of a gala that's going on tomorrow evening for an opening of a gallery that is in blah, blah, blah region of Coruscant. If you would like, I can send an invitation your way, assuming, of course, you have the appropriate attire. I'd be more than happy to discuss these details over some drinks."
Does she make note that the others are invited as well, the other politicians, or?
She says that there's a gala. Does not specifically mention the other politicians that you, if you even inquired about those politicians in your direct email.
I mean, I would have, because I want them all in one room. I would have liked to have a meeting with them,
Mhm.
these particular politicians. So
She does not respond with that, but of course you have a correspondence now. You're welcome to inquire
Yeah,
further in a separate message.
I will graciously thank her for the invitation and let her know that, gala opening is something that I quite enjoy, and I, of course, have the attire to do so. I will also probe and ask, and of the other politicians, any of them, are they invited, and will they be there as well?
You get a response only about like less than an hour later on.
Sure.
Saying, I'm pleased to hear that you'd be joining. I'm genuinely curious about what it is that you can, what it is that we can discuss, the typical pleasantries. As far as I understand, Senator Smibe and Senator Tori will be coming as well.
I mean, that's good enough for me to hear. And the goal for me then, if it's the next night, is I will be going with what I would consider the most appropriate and valuable books that I have, that I was able to get, and bring them as discussion pieces for the meeting and like.
Okay. So they're tossing an invitation. So far as it currently stands, they're tossing you an invitation.
Yep, and I only want to go because
you also get a response from Senator Tori that more or less says like, I'm going to be busy in the near future. Perhaps you can reach out to me again sometime in like after that, but you already have plans from there. You do get a response from Smeebay that also is one of those like kind of contact me again in the near future. I should have things opened up even next week, but you already have plans. You also get a contact back from Barjani that actually says, I can slide you in for an hour in 2 days.
Okay, worth it. I'll take it. I'll take the 2.
And that one was actually a lot more curt, while still not being rude or anything like that. So
sounds good.
Very to the point.
In the DMs.
Hell yeah.
Hey-o.
All right, sounds good.
Okay, so you do of course get the transmission of the invites to the gala that's going on for the gallery, cool. And you're welcome to get yourself prepared for that. Does your character currently own finer attire?
That's kind of what he's only worn, is just like nicer clothing.
That's true, though. Of course, you probably want to get a clean one. I mean, you currently
or at least
are
get it
walking around in
cleaned.
Twi'lek
He
filth.
has lots of money, so he can afford.
I just got a lot of money, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'll get clean. I'll get it cleaned. I'll get everything kind of. I'll spend the money needed to take care of appearances on Coruscant.
So, just for your sake, Dark. So whenever I pay like the cast or whatever the cast that kind of pays everybody in your mind.
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. Yes. Sorry. Yes. So, my brain's not working. Mike, so I imagine you're one of those people that when you open your closet, it's like, oh, what should I wear today? And it's like all the same outfit.
Yeah. Yes.
So you get yourself like a nice one of your cleaner or better formed ones or whatever, and can head out that evening. Do you inform anybody else about what you're doing tomorrow night?
Oh, I'll let Eris know that I got invited to an art gala and I will be attending it tomorrow night. I shall not be out any longer than necessary. But I figure while we are on a planet that has this luxuries that we haven't had in a while, I plan on taking advantage of them.
Mm-hmm. Anything at the art museum we should know about? She says as if like,
Oh, yeah.
talking about their first encounter when they first met.
Heist.
Not that I'm aware of, though I am, and I kind of like show the books I'm bringing. I am going to see if I can maybe pry some information from those around.
Sounds good.
If I find anything, of course, you'll be the first to know.
Sounds good.
Okay. And with a smile and a what was that?
She said, do you need anyone to accompany you?
No, I think I'll be safe. And with like a smile and a quick little kind of courteous bow, I will make my way off the ship in very nice clothing.
I'm pretty sure we should buy Kuka some fine dresses and send her as your bodyguard.
Oh, that would make
the
diplomacy
mascot.
Oh my gosh, that would be adorable.
difficult with Kuka around. I'll take
mascot.
Kuka if I have a diplomatic meeting with someone on Tatooine.
Narasha.
For those of you who don't know, Kuka is a little murder Nagri.
Yep.
Really
Really great.
Nagri are
Go
little
look it
murder
up.
people.
Yep. Incredibly good to bring on like diplomatic meetings with Hutt cartel. That kind of diplomacy.
Okay, so
One of the reasons why Eris keeps her around.
Oh, no doubt.
Well, other than beyond that.
Eris
Did you-
loves her.
Probably the only person that Eris has an attachment to.
did you intend to stay dockside anyways until these repairs were done, or these I should say attachments were put onto your ship anyways, Maggie?
Yeah.
Okay, can you do me a favor just to get this out of the way? Could you actually go over to those two characters? You don't have one of them there. Let me just double check something really quickly.
Yeah, we only have
His
Bez
is
and Naga.
correct.
We have M3, M1, T1M.
So Naga, you want to roll me Naga's mechanics? Let me set this up. I'm actually going to make it a little bit difficult.
because this is an older ship, but they know what they're doing. So Naga is going to roll a mechanics check with a blue die. Feel free to add that on there.
Okay.
And that's because he's getting the assistance from Visit while he's doing his mechanics. Which component do you want put onto the ship first? Which is more important?
Probably the jammer first.
Okay, so you go right ahead.
I rolled, but
It did pop up.
oh, it popped up. Wow.
Yep. So, like I said, it's a more difficult one. He rolls well, but it was
Is
not
that like
good enough.
max strain and max wounds? What?
Where is he for his character sheet? Oh, that's just because I set up backwards, counting down as opposed to counting up. Feel free to change that because this is your NPC.
Okay. Cool.
So he more or less, his mechanics getting the things kind of set up. He's actually having a bit of a,
slow.
yeah, it's going to be a hard struggle for it. So it's actually going to take a bit of time. You guys are going to be stuck here for a few days. And then do me a favor, on the flip side, you can actually just roll this probably off of your character sheets. No, let me just on NPCs. I'm going to have to do it this way because I don't have it set up correctly for you. So what's his name? Visit has 3 intelligence, and he has 2 skills in computers. So that gets him 2 yellow and a green. And I'll roll that with 1 blue. This is for the components. I'm going to have to roll this for you because you don't have access to this one. Sorry.
That's fine.
Computers to have the other side done. He also doesn't succeed, but at least he because the 2 of them working on it together, he heals the strain on Naga. So it's going to be a long time for your jammer to get that thing not only hooked up correctly, but then actually up and functioning. It's going to be an extended period of time. Let's go to Mike though. So, actually, even take a step back from that. Maggie and Doxy, what are you guys going to do while Mike is gallivanting?
I mean, at one point I brought back the milk and the liquor and kind of like let everyone drink and stuff. Probably before he left, paid everyone, and I think she's probably just going to chill.
You know, that's a good idea. We're going to have Mike do his little scene of RP inside the gala, and then we'll have the crew having a drinking scene with you guys afterwards. See if there's anything fun that you want to do. I'm afraid of
milk and liquor.
I'm terrified of
cat.
Are you sure though? Enough liquor, and it might switch. All right, so Mike, you make your way to the gala. Mm-hmm. And when you get there, this place that's opening up, this is Coruscant, so everything is large.
Yes.
All the buildings are huge. If you're saying it's a gala, you know that the ceilings that stretch up in this place that you're going into just like go very high. The whole place is extremely ornate. The architecture is absolutely gorgeous. You can roll me actually. Let me set this up right here. You can actually roll me a check for the architecture of this building. Do me a core worlds check.
Okay. Am I all set?
You are. Oh.
Beautiful.
Me or you? How do you want to use this?
I'll give it to you. Go for it. Tell me what I know.
So when you go walking into the building and looking at it, you can actually see that the building they've used for this facility is not like a freshly constructed building. They've actually recycled an old one, and it is absolutely stunning. So if you had to guess, this the building that they used for this is probably about 3,000 or 4,000 years old. So it has definitely survived quite a few bombardments against the planet over the course of however many wars have happened in that amount of time. Mm-hmm. While the original structure is still there, it has certainly been altered over the course of time. And while you're walking through, you can see those alterations as the eras kind of like fade away from one to the next. And you can see all the blending of like work done. Like if there was a bit of like repairs done along here, you can see how there was a change in grain from how it was, even that the same type of rock was cut from one era to the next. All these little bits of detail are appreciated. As a matter of fact, as you're appreciating these things and making a bit of conversation with others as you go through, because you are a bit of a social character, especially.
It's actually really nice to be in an area where people are probably being gregarious and chatting, as opposed to being on a ship where everybody's like, "Don't talk to me." Yeah, grumpy folk.
So as you're chatting with people about this stuff, you actually are able to make quite a few contacts along the way. I'm going to toss you those contacts in a little bit for pertinence in the future. You actually get, we're going to say 2 contacts in here because of friends that you make, or the conversation, the things that you point out, the things that are significant along your travels. So you do make your way over to later on, you eventually do make your way over to Mias to meet with her. But you don't make your way over there by yourself. As a matter of fact, as you're going over, like, oh, I've got a meeting over here. I'll come with you. No problem. Like, just to finish up a conversation as you're making your way. So you don't seem like this weird oddball person walking up to her. You seem like a person that's kind of tapering off a very enjoyable conversation as you meet with her. And definitely sets that standard wherein I'm going to give you a blue die on top of what I've just said. I'm going to give you a blue die for this encounter.
Okay, cool. Appreciate it.
So when you go walking up to her and meeting with her, I'll allow you to have like the first words because you know who you're looking for. You could easily have hollow netted, found out, or what she looks like, so on and so forth, to discover her. So you can walk up to her and you can say the first words.
So I'll probably walk up and saying goodbye, like as I'm stepping towards this person, the politician. I'm saying goodbye to whoever I'm having a conversation with, and reassure them that I'll be in touch shortly. It was great company. And as they walk off, I'll turn to her and kind of just look at her just for a brief, like a beat or two, and then with a smile, Miss Favusa.
She takes a moment to look you up and down. Bothans are very, very perceptive. And while they are very personal, they calculate before they speak, generally. So she looks you up and down for a moment, and she says, you must be Latras.
You assume correctly, and I kind of say that with a smile.
She looks past you for a second and then approaches you to give you a proper greeting, which is like a bit of a bow. She looks past you and then gives a bit of a bow, and she says, it seems as though you've other friends in the galley?
Only recent ones. I've been in space for a while, out in the stars for quite some time. It's nice to be amongst people who are eager to talk.
And that I am, because of what you had spoken beforehand. Please, are you familiar with any of the artists' work here?
I apologize. I haven't spent too much time perusing the art. I actually spent most of my time admiring the architecture of the building and its steady modernization the further and further we go in. The obvious ancient origins of it, and then the consistent repairs and additions that the building itself has seen over the course of millennia.
It seems as though you really are familiar with pre-Empire works.
It is a specialty of mine.
I am going to point, I don't want to distract too much. Your microphone is wonky a little bit.
God.
I can understand you perfectly fine, so let's just ignore it and push
sit
on.
Up closer. Is it wonky as in like it sounds funny?
You go like muffled. I can still hear you, but muffled to normal to muffled to normal and so on and so forth.
I wonder what's causing it. I'll have to mess with it again later.
Yeah, who knows? But I can hear you fine enough. I just want to make sure you're aware of it.
Sounds a bit like you're coming from a webcam right now. TBA.
Oh, that's totally a possibility. I know a lot of people that have that issue where, because you and I have the same camera, where it will pick up that mic. And like the two of them will argue back and forth if you don't disable it.
Make sure you disable any other microphones in your recording.
I thought I did, but maybe I didn't. I'll do that. I'll have to do that on break.
Yeah, but you can check right now in on Zoom. Open the audio and make sure that your microphone selected is the right mic.
Yeah, it is. It's the Samson. Yeah, it's this thing that it's got.
Okay.
Can you hear me tapping it?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. And it's only sometimes inconsistent, but let's go back to the thing. So you say all your things. She says, you clearly, you know your stuff. And then I'm so sorry. Your response was more or less like, yes, this is what I focus on. This is actually what I'm good at, so on and so forth. And so she says, well, I was very excited to receive your email because the galaxy has gone through many different transitions over the course of the many millennia that it is. We've had this society. Some for the better and some for, they've gone in different directions. And one of the more recent transitions, there is a galactic-wide, are you familiar with the phrase book burning?
He perks up, and I'm assuming I have. Yeah, I have. And I nod, kind of disheartened. Yes, I have, but not something I particularly support.
Well, the previous administration was very much in favor in ignorance, because ignorance does, of course, keep people
malleable.
So I am actually a part of, it's still in its rudimentary phases, but a part of a group of peoples that are interested in acquiring the lost knowledge and placing it back into the Grand Libraries. They were once looked after by. You're familiar with the Jedi?
More familiar than most, I feel.
Oh. That's perhaps even another conversation that we can have. The Grand Libraries that were looked after by them beforehand once housed all of this information. Much of it is missing from the archives, and we'd like to see what we can put back there, put there again. So now that I've divulged, I suppose, all of my plans and why I was excited to see you, why was it that you had reached out to me specifically?
Surprisingly similar situation. And I'll kind of rummage to what I might have like stored on me, and I'll actually pull out one of maybe 2 books that I brought. I probably didn't bring many. It can be, up to you, Scott, whatever one I brought, because I don't know what exactly the books we got were, but I kind of call
What subject?
What subjects are available to me?
Pretty much anything. Imagine an actual library in real life.
Give me, what I mean? So then I would probably pull out a book that actually pertained to the rise of the Jedi Order.
Oh, so
because we're on Coruscant, and I think Coruscant was the hub of the Jedi until maybe 60 years ago, 70 years ago.
So this is a Togruta telling of the rise of the Jedi Order. So a lot of the information, as you might imagine, from different societies, they have different bits of, because that's so old, it's different bits of rumors, different bits of this, different bits of that, so on and so forth. But because this is a real text, it hasn't been messed with. So this is propagandalist.
Yeah, exactly.
From pre-Empire.
So I'll actually kind of bring the book out and just kind of I'll hand it to her eagerly. Not to give it, to give it.
Or are we on Coruscant?
Coruscant.
Oh, I thought we were on Corellia.
No, Coruscant.
Cool.
Mm-hmm. So Corellia has a smell to it. So anyways, you guys make your way. Sorry, why do I keep going to that as my random? So you hand her the book. It's so weird. You hand her the book, and she takes it and she looks at it and she's like, "Is this Togrutan?"
You know your language as well.
I'm familiar with the Met site, but not how to read it.
Well, I can help with that.
She smiles and she says, "Well, this word I can read in many languages because it's something that's always been a bit of an interest of mine. This word is Jedi. What is the rest of them?"
It is a telling, at least from Togrutan tale, of the rise of the Jedi in general. Their roots, or at least the mythological roots, perhaps, from this particular species on their planet.
Huh. Well, this is exactly what we were looking for. But you brought this to me. Why?
Well, I know Coruscant was the hub of the Jedi Order for many a year until, we'll say recently. And I am a man who specializes specifically, while ancient history is a pet project. My focus is that of those gifted in the Force.
I know very little about that subject. She says, "Can you actually do me a favor, Michael? Roll me a discipline check, but not yet."
Not a strong suit.
So this is not an easy roll.
I'm not going to burn a light side point on it, though.
That's fine. You can roll me a discipline check whenever you'd like.
Okay. Wow.
You can see that she kind of squares off her shoulders a little bit, and she gets a little bit more, on point with her answer. Loses a little bit of the playfulness that she has before him. And she says, "I'm not very familiar with that. But what I can say is that it does fall into the purview of things that I'm interested in general. How is it you've come across this information yourself?"
It is my profession to seek out ancient information like this, and when you get just a thread of information, or a hint as where you could find more, you follow it until the thread unravels completely, or it leads somewhere important. This particular one led somewhere important.
I'd be curious to hear one day the story of what hole you had hid yourself in during that time. You were no young man.
I am not. But perhaps something a little bit more interesting, and the truer reason I'm here to talk to you, and the reason I reached out to the politicians, you all have something in common. And it's a problem I run into as well. Somebody getting in my way from progressing the goals I truly am after. An annoying, obnoxious woman by the name of Rebecca.
So she can clearly tell that you're leading her somewhere, and she like raises an eyebrow slightly. Well, no, she's a Bothan. You can see like a bit of her snout like twitches over where her whiskers are, twitches slightly as you're saying, like leading up to it. Like, I'm curious where he's taking this. Then as soon as you say Rebecca, like the twitching of the whiskered area of her snout stops, and she actually will like look you full on. The small amounts of emotion that are on her generally playful face kind of drop off for a second. She says, so there's like a pause. Do you break the silence or you wait for her to?
No, I'll let the silence simmer.
It's like a second and a half solid. And then she says, you know of Rebecca?
I know enough. She's... Well, she hasn't become a roadblock yet, but she is, she's a speed bump currently.
You know that I've had dealings with Rebecca?
I know you're not the only one to have had dealings with her.
So she looks at the book down in her hand and looks back up at you and says, so, a gift to sweeten the delivery.
I just kind of look at her.
At the very least, you have my ears bent.
I'm not looking to do anything as vile as murder her or anything like that, just so you're aware. But steps can be taken to impede her progress and make her value amongst those she's working with now negligible. Sometimes removing someone from a position they're so proud of is a fate worse than death.
So you're familiar with Mariari Gunner?
Well, I've not had the pleasure of meeting her. I know that Rebecca uses her employer as a cudgel in diplomatic meetings.
What's your opinion of Mariari?
I can't have one. I've never met her.
But you have rumors.
She seems, from what I know, a woman who knows what she wants and how to get it. And the fact that she does not give orders directly leads me to believe that she's not one for diplomacy, and uses Rebecca as her diplomatic means. Perhaps without the understanding that Rebecca is not quite good at what she does.
Well, she's brilliant in ways and completely daft in others. But well, that could be said of
Everyone.
Anyone you come across, yes. You had originally inquired about a few other associates of myself. I didn't think it's strange you'd mention them at first, but then you pressed the issue. They've had dealings with Rebecca before, haven't they?
I just kind of nod. I am, if I was to call myself daft in a particular area of expertise, it would be that of physical and violent confrontation. I remove those who cause a thorn in my side more elegantly than most. And those who help are rewarded. And I kind of gesture to the book. It's a lot more where that came from.
How invested into Mariari are you?
More invested than I'd like to admit. But I guess the question then I have for you is, what exactly do you mean by that?
She looks around because there's like a lot of people around here. Mm-hmm. And then she kind of like, as she does so, she realizes like her entire aura that she's giving off, her entire vibe that she's giving off is completely changed from somebody who's enjoying a gala and a pleasant conversation to somebody who just like more or less heard that their dog got hit by a car. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So she I would have said cat, but you know, look who I'm streaming with. So yeah, she kind of comes to that realization, and she takes like a deep breath, and then as she like exhales slowly, you can see like her entire like outlook or vibe or whatever transitions to somebody. Her smile comes back onto her face, and just the ease of way she's standing and whatnot comes back to her, and she says, "The ears of a Bothan, if you're not familiar, are extremely keen. We can pick up sounds from pretty far, and even those that are muffled by other noises that would otherwise intercede. And yet, the ears of a Bothan are not the greatest ones that you can find in the galaxy, let alone the wonderful galas of Coruscant. Maybe you and I can continue this conversation later on."
I do know, I did pass a place that looked rather great for drinks, and seemed to be invite only. I'm sure someone of your stature could get us in.
Just us?
Ideally. Though I do have a meeting with, and I will spew I forget the one of the name that gives me a meeting in 2 days.
It's Skyali Barjani.
And it's like, though I do have a meeting with Skyali in a couple of days.
Oh, she definitely would not be at this gala.
Then you and I.
Fine. Tomorrow evening?
I look forward to it. Now, and I kind of like look around. Show me the best piece of art you have here.
Oh, not just going on a date.
She smiles at the transition. I do want you to make one more roll for me, because that whole thing was trying to set a vibe between the two of you. And obviously there's more RP that we're going to have, but I want you to set one more roll for me once I set it up. Okay. And of course, you were trying to more or less charm her, to coerce her to being less threatened by you.
I'm not trying to threaten her, you know. I'm not actually trying to threaten her anyway.
Sorry. That's a poor phrasing. You were trying to charm her into kind of like wearing down her guard, because she, of course, has guard about speaking about the things that you're speaking about.
I am surprised
with what she just said.
Not a charming man.
Yes, no, I'm familiar with that. Your force of personality is absolutely garbage. So charm is, of course, a role that could work unless you can argue for another one to work in its place.
I mean, the only thing I could really say is that I didn't lie, and I very much was giving her truthfulness as far as my academics and my history, but yeah, I guess that I don't know if I was actually trying to charm her per se, but I was being very friendly. I mean, it's up to you. I'll let you make the call. If you want me to roll a charm roll, I'll roll a charm roll.
Okay, so if you can't argue for something else, we will do charm. Don't forget, you do have a blue for all the rolls for this interaction that you had here.
This is going to go horrendously.
And
how difficult are we talking?
Are you using a light side point?
How difficult is this roll?
I'm not going to tell you in advance. I'm not that nice.
Psh, come on. If it was a tabletop game, I'd have to roll the purple with my...
Yeah, that's true. Even though I think that's name.
That's true. We should, because we technically, I think, should be putting the purples in our own character sheet when we do this.
No, because dice pool's there for a reason, right?
Yeah, true enough.
But I was going to set it at 3 purple for you.
Okay. Fuck, man. I don't know how important, like, what would happen if I don't charm her? Is she going to really not go out?
Go ahead and light side it if you want.
Yeah, all right.
Really want.
Fuck
I
it.
mean, honestly, like, the charm is more of, like, how charming I guess you were.
Yeah, sure. And Scott used the dark side anyway, so I'm just
business oriented.
I am negating it, so I'm going to use my light side point to give him a downgrade just to put it down
okay.
even. All right.
You know how to apply that correctly?
I just did it. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, here we go. Yep, it was a failure.
So it was a failure. It wasn't like a hard failure or anything like that, but it was a failure. So more or less, you tried to come off as charming, and so it's not that you were, again, it's not like a hard failure. So you did come off, you did make the meeting, all that stuff to go through, but she clearly was able to see through that. There's a whole everything. You don't really care about like her plans that she, like you appealed to of hers. It was a means to an end, and she comes to that realization, and politics. And that's kind of where it goes. So
sure.
All right, so I was kind of hoping for a threat, or what's the spare. That would have been nice. Oh well.
Okay, so you guys go about looking at stuff. The evening actually goes pretty well. As for meeting with Tori and Simbei, it's one of those things where you can go and meet with them if you would like, or you can take solace in your conversation that you had with Mias.
All right. Do you want to take a break here, by the way?
I'm going to. I'm just curious. I'm just asking that question.
Do I want to reach out to them specifically right now?
They're also at this gala.
Oh, if they're here, then yeah. I mean, I'm gonna try and introduce myself to them.
Okay, cool. Then we'll do that right after this break.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Sounds good. All right. We'll be back in just a few minutes, guys, for our final hour. Don't go anywhere.
Ooh,
Mathis
All right,
is
we're back, everybody.
caution tape.
What?
Nothing.
Oh, okay. We're back. Let's do it. The last hour.
I'm eating peanut butter Ritz crackers and Oreos. Not at the same time, but definitely in the same snack.
It's my fasting day. You are killing me.
You fast for a day?
I made some ramen.
Every other day I fast.
Really?
Yeah, it's 500 calories usually. Today it's nothing.
What?
That just
Yeah.
seems not good.
No, it's super good for you. I promise.
I consume
I've researched
thousands of calories a day. Like, I blow through boxes of Cocoa Pebbles and stuff like that, and I'm lactose intolerant, so that's so good for me. Yeah, I will get diabetes. It's like a challenge.
It's a challenge.
All right. So, anyways, you're walking around the facility as well. You're walking around the gala after you kind of like break away with her, which is very cordial. Is never rude to you. She's very cordial with you the entire time. You probably mentioned like, so I'll see you tomorrow evening. She's like, of course I'll be there. Expected correspondence or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
You break off, and you're gonna make your way around looking for. Are you looking for the human or the Kaminoan first?
Whoever I run across.
Okay. Can you do me a favor? Because Kaminoans have a bit of history.
Yeah.
You're going to have to see if you know that history, because most people don't. That was secret, like where the clones had come from.
Mm-hmm.
So, once again, are you ready to roll that? That's actually going to be, that's going to be a lore check.
Okay.
So, I'm going to have it set there. No, I'll have it set there. Yeah. Are you good with your roll?
Yeah,
Make sure you
I'll
remove
roll.
that blue.
Oh, yep. There we go. All right, I'm good. All right, ready?
Now I am.
Yeah, I saw.
I
Lori
gotta
said,
keep
right?
using them. Yeah.
Oh, dead even.
I can't even make anything bad happen.
I just don't know.
Yeah, you just don't know anything.
Yeah.
I can't even make bad things
This has
happen.
been the most chill episode. It's crazy. Like, it's so calm. I'm kind of scared of what's going to happen.
Calm before the storm, Maggie. All right, so you go walking up to the human or the Kaminoan?
I said whoever I came across first, so...
Sure, we'll say the human then. So
sure.
you're going to come back. His name's Jacko Sinbei.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Smidbei. So you go walking up to him, and you approach him first because he has no clue who you are.
Yeah. I will just, much like I did last time, Mr. Snibbe.
He turns around and he looks you down. This is an older guy. He looks you down and he's like, I don't know you.
No, we have not met properly yet. And I kind of extend my hand.
You extend your hand. He goes, and already looking for handouts. No, thank you. And he turns and he goes like to walk away from you.
I'm like, well, I didn't know that's how you were treating people you were expecting.
Do me a favor. This is gonna be a lot easier of a check.
Okay.
Roll me a charm on that one. It's against one purple.
I mean,
It's
I only roll a green, so it's not that big a change. It's a 50-50.
Well, you can always light side it if you cared.
No, I got an advantage though.
So you say that I didn't know this is how you treat people that you were expecting. And when you say that, he gives like a huh and keeps walking unless you do anything else.
Sure. I'll just say I'll be sure to let and I'll say let me open my notes real quick. I'll be sure to let Mias Fuvusa and whoever the other person I'm supposed to be meeting. Oh yeah, Senator Tori, know that you were too busy to attend the meeting tonight.
He will stop and look back at you, and he stops, looks back at you, and he walks back over, and he's like, "Who are you?"
I extend my hand again with a smile. Latris.
Instead of taking your hand, he pulls out a data pad and starts like skimming through it.
I'm assuming he's seeing if he has an appointment.
And he's like, AIDS. And he puts the data pad away, and then he'll take your hand. It's one of those obnoxiously firm handshakes. And so he grabs your hand. He doesn't shake it all. He just squeezes really hard for a second. And
yeah.
you can appreciate what it is for an older guy.
Yeah.
I mean, you're older, but he's older, you know?
Yeah. Seeing that he's to the point, flowery language will probably fall upon deaf ears. Then I'll make it brief and to the point. While I'm here to study and gather and learn more, as my profession is that of a scholar, especially that of ancient history. Coruscant is obviously an epicenter to that. I'm more here to deal with somebody who is getting in the way of my studying. A woman by the name of Rebecca.
There's a lot of Rebeccas.
Rebecca Kotver, specifically.
If he wasn't scowling before, he was.
Yeah.
He's definitely scowling now. And he's like, that bitch. And he says it like a bit loud.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where a few people actually around kind of like look in the direction. Others who are having a very pleasant conversation and hearing it, they kind of like pleasantly walk away to get away from this, like, buzz harsher. So he says that a bit loud, and your response is?
Yep, that'd be the one.
Yeah, what about her?
She's a common thread to all those that I'm looking to talk to tonight.
Huh. I imagine she gets her hands in quite the dirty pots.
And the goal is to remove her hands from all pots and keep them out of reach.
What ties do you have with her?
She's
I
getting...
imagine she only rolls around with scum.
Well, she's rather high. I don't know how long it's been since you've dealt with her, but she's rather high up in the remnants of the Empire nowadays. While scum to some, they still leverage quite a bit of muscle.
It's just an old dog taking its time to die.
The last
couple of dog
the last gasp of a dying breed. Sure. I need to remove her. And I know it would benefit all of you if she was removed from her position as well.
So you're looking to get some dirt on her?
I have dirt. More would be useful. But it would also be good to have, and I kind of like gesture to you and then around, those of higher standard than myself to be of use.
I'm a busy man. You got a time? You got a place?
I'll be having drinks with, and I'll Mia's Favusa in a few hours tonight, or tomorrow night rather. And I'll kind of like name the club or the place. And outside of that, I have a meeting with Jacko Smibbe in 2 days' time.
Well, that's it's the second one.
Oh,
so who you have in 2 days' time, but that's okay.
Well, I'm getting them all messed up.
You're fine. Yeah, you're fine. It's 1, 3, and 5. So the odd numbers that you're
1,
meeting
3,
tonight.
5. Got it.
Yep.
Got it.
Even the other one, and then the final one. Yeah.
Skyle Bajarni, I guess, then is the one I'm meeting in 2 days' time.
Yep. So he says, he's like, fine, I will move things around to hear what you're selling, and you best be selling, because I don't just give handouts.
I promise that removing her would be beneficial to everyone.
Uh-huh. Don't waste my time, boy. You're barely younger than him, because your race lives longer.
Yeah. I smile and I'll kind of just give him a nod and turn and walk away. I won't even give him a handshake if he doesn't. I don't care too much.
Well, your hand might still be hurting from the last one too. So, and you turn and walk away, and it's one of those things where he's such like an obnoxiously aggressive person. He watches after you walking away, almost like he's scared some bad kids off of his lawn for like another 45 seconds. You're like kind of like, Jesus, man's unrelenting. So when finally you like kind of break away, you make your way about a little bit, trying to find Tori. Now, Tori's really easy to find because Kaminoans are really tall. Mm-hmm. You gotta stand out. So you can eventually make your way over to speak with her.
Perfect. And I will, as always, do same introduction. Yep.
So you're walking up to her and say, what are your opening words with her? My apologies.
Yeah. Miss Tori, I presume?
She looks down at you, kind of like a craning neck looking down. Mm-hmm. And she looks at you. She blinks for a couple seconds. Kaminoans don't always blink in unison.
Yeah.
So she blinks a couple times looking at you, seemingly thinking. And then she says, did we have a meeting tonight? Latris.
As I go to open my mouth and she says my name, I nod and smile.
I thought you might be a Arcanian.
What gave that away?
Your name, the structure of your messages.
Educated then. Good. I'm happy to hear it. Yes, we were to meet tonight. I wanted to discuss with you some things we could, some potential business opportunities while I'm here on the planet for a few days.
Have you seen the garden?
Would you like to show me?
I would. And as she turns and walks with you, she like cranes her head down a little bit and she says a little quietly, to be honest with you, the kind of art here I find ghastly. There's almost no talent to it. And have an algorithm do the work for you and just press print. The garden, however, the quality of architecture, the care of the plants, that's where the art is here.
And I'll actually say to her as we're walking, it's like, yes, actually, most of my attention has been on the building itself, strangely enough. It is ancient and been around for a few millennia, and just to see the progression of modernism as you walk through the building itself is breathtaking.
Anybody can shape stone or metal or wood, but to alter, to shape and appreciates organics, now that's living organic things is a very different type of art altogether. Please, this way.
I'll follow.
And despite how friggin' tall they are and the stride that they could have, she actually moves like a slow, kind of like swooping way as she walks with you, and she'll make pleasant conversation with you as she goes along. She says, "So what brought you here this evening? Was it just the meetings?"
Well, I've been amongst the stars for far too long. I have not been able to walk through a gala and converse with people willing to converse in quite a while, so it's good to be amongst my people again.
And you did express appreciation for at least the architecture of the building.
However, as I'm sure you know, as a woman of your stature and your position, there's always underlying pinnings to any meeting between two heads.
Between any two people ever.
There's a common thread that runs through those who I'm looking to meet tonight. Yourself, and then I'll give the other names of the other two.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm honest, the need is a little bit selfish on my end. This particular...
She says, I imagine so. I've seen Mias not that long ago. She looked upset.
There's somebody who's been impeding my progress in my goal to learn more about ancient knowledge, and specifically that of those who are attuned to the Force and the Jedi Order and all that nonsense. A woman by the name of Rebecca. Specifically Rebecca Kotver.
What do you know of her?
Well, I know that she's a pain in my rear end currently, that she is currently the mouthpiece for Mariari, the general in one of the generals in the remnants of the Empire, and that she is about as diplomatic as a brick to the face.
It's probably the most graceful way you can put that.
I try and be polite even to those I dislike.
She's crossed you.
In a way.
Is your grudge only with Rebecca?
As it stands, yes. Does that mean that's where it stops? Not necessarily.
How much stake do you have in this?
More than I care to admit.
That's impressive. You're looking to pry upon my past experiences with this woman to garner my aid in whatever you have planned?
To put it simply, without divulging details, as I said to Miss Favusa, there are punishments worse than death, and death is brutal and messy and doesn't really solve many things a lot of the time. I'd much prefer to remove her from her position, to keep her hands out of the dirty little pots that they've been in. Again, perhaps rephrasing something that Mr. Smibe said earlier. Bring her down a peg. Mariari uses her because, well, as far as I can understand at the very least, she doesn't know any better. Rebecca's
Mariari is
a loyal dog.
Well, that she is. Mariari is is keen, is a very keen woman.
Yes.
But her approach is leaves a taste.
Her approach seems to be about as subtle as Rebecca's diplomatic means.
What exactly is it that you are looking to make from this meeting?
Well, ultimately, see if there are any of you who are willing to help me remove Rebecca. But more importantly, see if any of you can help me in more of an immediate task. Something that Rebecca is after and something I'd like to attain for myself. A person.
Oh? Who is this person? Why are they of note?
Because Rebecca wants them. That's enough note for me.
I will accept that. Who is this person? Or are you looking for my aid, or just trying to...
You may not necessarily be able to help with this particular task, though if you can, it would be welcome. But I'm more looking for doors to remain open for future help, in case you can't help here.
I will admit that finding people is not my strong suit. So perhaps that is the best course of action for the two of us.
Perhaps, but I will give you a name, just in case perhaps your ears and eyes cross something.
No. Sometimes ignorance is the better avenue.
You're not wrong.
I have a feeling that this is a dirty little pot I do not want to stick my own fingers into.
Unfortunately, to remove hands from a dirty pot, you too have to put your hand in that pot.
And I will wait until this analogy is boring me. I will wait until the time comes that it's worth my while.
Then what would make it worth your while? Not necessarily this particular task, but in the future. What are you looking to gain if removing Rebecca from the equation isn't enough?
I don't know you. We've just met. You seem to be earnest, and I can appreciate that. I'm not about to divulge all of my experiences and why I have my opinions to somebody that I've just met. How do I know you don't work for Rebecca? You're trying to gauge my responses.
Fair question. You don't. And I don't know if there's a way I can prove to you that I do not, at least not yet.
So then why don't we allow some time to pass?
Let my actions speak. Yeah, let my actions speak for themselves. Agreed.
It was genuinely a pleasure meeting with you. It's most likely going to be the most thrilling conversation I have all evening. And I'm going to be forced to re-enter that building covered with those ghastly images all over the walls. So hopefully I can at least think upon this as a pleasant, island in the Sea of Despair.
I'm glad I could have provided for you at the very least that tonight. And continue, kind of like I did with her. I'll actually gesture to the garden.
This is the ladies' man tonight, dude.
I'll gesture to the garden and be like, "Now, a proper tour without interferences of business talk."
Hey-o. So she actually will go around. Now that you guys aren't strictly speaking of business, conversation actually slows down considerably. It's a lot of kind of walk into an area. Her approach to, and I'm not going to waste too much time explaining this, but her approach to appreciation is you walk up into an area of the garden where there's a whole different slew of flowers and architecture whatever they hadn't seen before, and you just silently appreciate it. Go up to each individual plant and either touch or smell or whatever it is that you want to kind of absorb their essence. Mm-hmm. And then after you've kind of taken all that in, then you will discuss what it is that you've just experienced, as opposed to kind of walking and be like, oh, I like that one, and then walking over and going about it. So it's a very kind of calm, relaxing experience between the two of you, where you don't even speak very much, but you learn volumes about one another.
Sure, works for me.
And you eventually leave them to go rejoin your crew. Wait for that.
Yep.
Back on the ship. I got the bubbly. You guys bust out the liquor that you were talking about before, Maggie, and the milk for the cat. and you guys have some drinks. What's your plan of recreational activity? First of all, who's involved? Second of all, what's your plan of recreational activity?
Does anyone play Sabak?
Bazwi does, and what's his name? Visit has, but like is one of those like, yeah, I've played chess before. And you're like, oh,
Yeah, I guess I
that's
offer
cute.
to teach people how to play, and
Naga.
Eris doesn't talk a ton, but she will like explain things as she's handing out cards and stuff.
Naga would love to learn, but he's kind of daft. So it's one of those like you keep explaining things and like it's like imagining telling somebody, okay, the way that a knight moves is in like an L shape, and so they move it in like almost like a P shape, and you're like, what? What is it? No, it's like an L, and they move it like an A, and you're like, what are you doing? This doesn't even make sense. And that's kind of like how it is with Naga, and so it actually gets really frustrating. With Visit, he will play a game because he's interested, will lose handedly, but loves watching and like kind of like absorbing it. But Bezwi is good at it. He's actually good at Sabak, and so it's kind of like a give and take between the two of you while playing the game. Everybody's drinking. Kuka, any particular drinking games that you know about that you would be doing with them?
No, she's never really had friends before Eris, so.
Does she drink?
She hasn't.
So doesn't this time either? She just drinks milk out of the bowl?
I think that she would sit back and watch, maybe hang out with Naga a little bit.
Okay. Because you're both lizard people, I believe. So, scales unite. So you guys have a good evening where you play some games, you get some drinking. It doesn't sound like people are getting schmammered.
Eris never does.
Okay. Does Eris, I'm going to say, loosen the fuck up a little bit?
Never.
No? So maybe that's why nobody actually loosens up enough to get completely drunk, is because it's like, yeah, this is so much fun. But the boss is here. No, she'll be fine. It'll be fun. She's not. It's not.
Yeah, no, she's not fun. She probably doesn't stay that long, but she takes time to like play like a round or two of Sabak and teach Naga, but realizes that he's like an idiot. And she just nurses one drink and then retires.
Okay. And then just so that the whole evening isn't a bit of a waste, we can have a little bit of interaction with one of the NPCs. I'll let you choose which one.
I feel like Kuka and Naga, we need to get in on the Kuka Naga conversation, because I feel like most of Eris's conversation would just be at the table and not really talking much other than teaching people how to play.
All right. So Naga, having had a few drinks, because that's definitely what he's more interested in, is drinking than games. So
Does he convince Kuka to drink?
well, I imagine
I'd be willing to have a roll off with him to see if he can convince her to.
I would say he hasn't yet at this point.
Okay.
So Naga's just finished looking like an idiot for a long period of time, went over to the bottle, like literally poured himself a shot, swigged from the bottle, and then walks over, sits down next to Kuka, then takes the shot. You know what I mean? Puts it down and says, oh, me's brain hurts. Kuka, I say, I's never ask you how you and Vulas meet.
Oh. Am Kuka. Am slave.
Oh.
Am hits and hits. And Eris. Save Kuka. Win Kuka. Playing game.
Good game. Me's love that game. Good game.
Good game. Don't
Good
know
game.
game. Good game.
Me neither. Good game.
The meeting of the minds.
I'm like, I knew this conversation was gonna be gold.
Yep, it's definitely gold.
Kuka love Eris. Eris help Kuka. Eris give Kuka everything. Eris give Kuka Sira? Sira?
It's a crab.
It's Sierra, okay?
What is it? Are you saying that Eris gave Kuka crabs?
Oh my fucking god.
Never mind.
Louise. And Kuka here. Kuka get gun. Kuka happy.
This is me's think Eris. She acts tough, but nice.
Eris tough.
But nice.
Eris tough.
But underscales. Soft, like...
Tough.
Oh,
Tough, tough, tough.
just Kuka special. That's...
Kuka
Well-
like tough.
Eyes tell you that I was slave too, young. They's always come and takes us because we make good in fights. We heal very fast. But someone thought it a good idea that they said my brain's smart and you learn quick. So they took me from fights where I get not so good fights, and they teach me how to fix machine. It's hard, it hurts to learn, but me learns how to fix the machines because I can heal. There was a ship with a broken. It was broken, and last mechanic stuck their arm in, and it tore off their arm. Same to me, but I just put it back.
Blood sample. Blood sample.
I gave sample.
She points.
Robot.
She's relating. He wanted to cut my arm off and take my blood.
Oh yes. And he kind of like takes him a moment to kind of like think, because she's even dumber than him. Like takes a moment. He's like, yes, blood sample. So me learn how fix machines, because when machines break, they hurt, but not me.
Oh, Kuka fight.
Kuka fight. Kuka fight's good.
Gunfight good.
I've seen Kuka fight. Kuka is good in fights. Maybe Kuka teach me sometimes, make Naga better fighter. Yes, and maybe I teach you how fix things. Like gun.
Kuka teach now.
He
And
looks
show you.
he
and
looks at
show
the
you.
he looks at the bottle and he goes and he grabs like whichever bottle's open and he takes like a swig and walks off with you to go target practice. Of course not. Okay, so the two of them go off and target practice while drunk. Kuka, just to sum up something really quickly, could you do me a favor? I need you to roll me. Where are you, Kuka? I'll just use Lotris. I need you to roll me a couple of skill checks.
Okay.
To sum up the evening, and I'll explain why in a minute. First thing I need from you is going to be a ranged check, light or heavy, whichever one you're using.
Okie dokie.
Okay. So funny thing, you actually don't succeed a super
Weird.
easy roll.
Weird how Doxy fails everything she tries when she rolls.
But you get so many friggin' bonuses on that. Like you get so many advantage on that even though you're like, so at first like your actual handling of the gun is not very good, but even though she's not very smart, Kuka does have wherewithal and decides to turn her failures into lessons anyways. So because you have 5 fucking advantage there, you can turn that into an upgrade and a blue die for when you're going to make an education check to try to teach him to the same difficulty. But you actually get to give yourself an upgrade and a blue die because of that 5.
All right, here we go. Where is it? There it
She
is.
just doesn't even know what the education skill is. That tells you something.
Nailed it on this roll.
Yep. So
How
even
many
though
hours?
you actually turn your failures into a lesson and turn it into like you're actually really good at training him a bit on the firing. And the issue is he's drunk, really drunk. But Naga, sorry, what race is he again? Sorry, I'm so bad at memorizing all the races. He Trandoshan, right?
Is he a lizard? He's Trandoshan.
Trandoshan, yeah. So Trandoshan are actually naturally good at things like combat. They have the combative instincts. So you actually are able to, despite him being drunk, he actually takes the lessons in and does very well with them. However, because he's drunk, he ends up like being kind of stupid and getting a bit rowdy. Like when he starts being successful, he says like, ha ha ha, he starts shooting like other targets in other areas. And it kind of gets the attention of the local law enforcement. And so you actually have droid law enforcement coming after you guys. Oh, I'm kind of spoiling my own shit. So he gets crazy. And what I need from you is, I got excited for a second there. What I need from you is going to be 2 stealth checks. Roll me the first one. This one's a bit more difficult.
Okay.
And you do make sure you peel away your upgrades and blue dice.
I have done that.
Now you have done that?
Fucking failed.
You did do it. How did you fail?
I don't know, dude. I'm me.
How did you?
She
This
is.
is a skill you can't
You
fail.
are like
All
one of
over
our.
a campaign.
You're like one of our friends that we used to play D&D with in person a lot, where he failed every roll he made, with the exception of like the ones that were like life or death. That's it. Everything else he just failed.
That's pretty much my experience with D&D. Yeah.
Nick
Or
would
like
roll.
tabletops.
Nick would roll 2 to 4, literally 80% of the time. But then if it was something like, I'm going to spit in the face of the king and make sure he knows he's my bitch, he'd roll a natty 20. And I'd be like, why? What? And it'd be like one of those things where it's like, dude, it's a DC 32. And he'd be like, don't worry, this effect, I get a plus 12, natty 20. Boom. I'm like, how? How? But anyway, so you're trying to like, so I'm, again, I don't want to narrate anything yet. You can roll me a
My
coordination.
second self.
Roll me a coordination check first,
'Kay.
but you can give yourself an upgrade and a blue die if you'd like.
Yeah, I probably need it.
Okay, give me 1 second, and you can actually roll this now.
Okay, coordination. Yeah.
there you go.
I'm gonna give you opportunity to use that in the future.
Coordinated, not stealthy. She's
Yeah.
like, oh, you want me go here? Okay.
She's there.
No.
I'm gonna suggest you keep that as narration in a second, but and you can pass yourself. That will actually be pass yourself an upgrade, but not a blue die. You can pass yourself an upgrade for your next stealth check, and you're welcome to make that roll. Hold on, this is the last one. This is the hardest one of them all. Hold on, you can do it. Are you using a light side or no?
Mm-mm.
Okay, you can do it now.
There you go.
Oh, nice. That is a lot.
We will get to what this means in a minute. Mike, just because I think it's important for us to button up this conversation, because this is important for the session,
Okay.
why don't we have you meet with Mias, Tori, and Jaco Smibe the next day?
Okay. Do you want to just like rush that convo then? Just like the details of what I want, because we only have 10 minutes, so I don't want to like
Okay, yeah.
deep out of it. Or we can save that. Or we can save that conversation for next session.
You know, honestly, it might be a good idea to save
Next
for next
time we
session
go.
because it kind of set the tone at the beginning of the
Just
session. So let's push forward.
write that down because it could be a few weeks.
Oh yeah, no, that's perfectly fine too. I'll take care of that.
Okay.
And do you inform Eris when you head back to the ship what it was that you were doing there? Or do you kind of keep this to yourself still?
I keep that to myself for now, not until I have something more solid. You know.
Okay.
I don't want to. Logis isn't the guy to be like, here's these possibilities. When he wants to approach somebody with something, he already has what he needs. So I don't have it yet.
Nope, I understand that. Okay. So then let's go back to Kuko for a second.
It's their problem.
Well,
Like our characters.
Make
We're both-
babies. Just make babies.
hate babies. Just angry hate children.
Probably.
Force hate. So
Like 3/4 your age or something.
Yeah, you're like very young.
I'm a
compared to
baby
me.
compared
You
to
are
you.
a child.
You could be like my grandpa.
And he sees you as such.
yeah, but he's into it. So so anyways,
not
Kuka,
judging. Whatever.
you make your attack roll.
Are you legal?
She's 16.
17. Wait,
17?
Well, it depends on the planet.
Yeah, what
Depends on the
planet?
planet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, who cares? This is the dark side campaign.
He's 19.
Listen, there's a line
I
even
just looked at mine.
even dark and Sith won't cross. All right, that's one of them.
But Yoda
I
will.
don't know.
Yeah.
Yoda's like the fucking Master Yoshi. Yeah, Master Yoshi, whatever it is. Like, me and I. Dark side tales. So anyways, I'm gonna stop before I get dirty here. So
In my
You
body.
gotta remind yourself you're like on stream and this is being like cataloged on the internet. This is not going anywhere. This is not one of our home games where we can just be nonsense.
pull this back.
Yeah.
What is it? So Kuka, you end up making your attacks, but your attacks are such a big failure. You turn that around, and he's drunk anyway, so it's easy to convince him that you did that intentionally and turn it into a lesson. It's actually very successful. He ends up making better rolls after that. He kind of is focusing better despite being drunk based off of your lessons. But then, like, is so excited with the successes that he ends up being a Trandoshan who's drunk and kind of like blasting around everywhere. This calls the local authorities, which then send droids after you guys to start chasing you. And so he's a Trandoshan. They're actually very athletic, and they're really good at. They live in kind of like jungle environments and swamp-like environments. So they're actually really good at like climbing and getting through places. Not the best for necessarily a cityscape, but still better than say maybe just a random Zabrak or something inside this area, right? So both of you guys turn and start running from the authorities because you don't want to be apprehended for this tomfoolery and being drunken and disorderly.
Real quick, so Kuka tosses Naga Tiny and just yells, "Prove!"
So, loving the idea of this, he pulls out the gun and he starts running through it and blasting back at the cops themselves. I imagine. What does Kuka also fight back or?
No, dude.
Okay.
He doesn't want to piss off Eris.
Okay. So Kuka goes and she hides. She goes and literally tries to stealth her way out of a situation, and she's hiding. But like while she's hiding there, she thinks she's really good because she's small and she's in a good spot. The respondents are actually, maybe they had a track on her, or maybe they just like are really thorough at their jobs. But all of a sudden, a light shines right where she is, and there's like, "Freeze! We know you're with him." And Kuka then turns and she tries to get out of there. Now, here's the fun part. How she has to go to get away, it is not an easy escape. She ends up going to buildings where they're so narrow together that she can actually touch both sides, but there's no ladders. She ends up squeezing into this tight space where none of the people can follow after you, but the droids can. And she starts like climbing up between these buildings to get herself to a landing that's high up above. And she starts doing these runs and these jumps and these tumbles to try to break away. The only thing chasing her after a good period of time, her just showing how athletic and coordinated that she is. It's only one droid that is still following after, has like the blinking light that's on it, that's following after and calling out after you randomly with the "Halt! You are being apprehended! Halt! You are being apprehended! Do not make me use deadly force! Halt! You are being apprehended!" And she's continuing to make her way, but then all of a sudden, she comes to another like break in the buildings, and she runs and she goes to like jump across the building, and it literally looks like she's going to jump across to clear to another side where there's a bit of cover over there. But realizing what's going on down beneath her, she actually mid-jump pulls out "Gan!" and she uses "Gan!" It's like hook the side of the building and pulls her jump short and drops her like straight down, and she's like flying in and smashing through a window down below because you're not so high up. All the windows here or whatever are like super shatterproof. So you end up smashing through the window below, having the thing fly past you. You end up literally in a living room where there's a couple sitting there, actually both Twi'leks, that are sitting there completely surprised by what it is you did. They're literally just sitting there and watching something on their, some bit of entertainment on their holo device when you come crashing through and scare the shit out of them. It's like a Netflix and chill kind of moment. And you scare the shit, it's like, "Ah!
I'm Kuka. I'm sorry. I'm leaving."
They just gotta like pull up and they kind of like hide back as you run your way through. You open up the first door, it's a bathroom. You go over, open up the second door, it's the hallway, and you make your way out, and Kuka can kind of like split. Where do you head to now, Kuka?
Kind of want to get a good vantage point to make sure Naga's not in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
So probably somewhere up high.
Okay. So your idea is to keep going back up. So you're going to roll for me for this one. 1 second. It's going to be a survival check, I think. Survival or streetwise check. I'll let you choose which you'd like to do. It's probably the same for both.
Does not matter. They are both bad.
Okay, let me set up my rolls for you. They're all set. Okay, so you try to. You're saying?
I think she just said yep.
Okay,
I
cool.
said youch.
Oh, youch.
That's why I sound like the beginning of a word. So you try to find your way to a spot where you have like a good vantage point where you can kind of like whip out your scope and kind of look in that area. And unfortunately, by the time you actually are able to get to a spot where you can really get like a good sight but not get seen by any of the droids that are patrolling the area, you look and he's long gone and the situation has long settled down to that spot where you are, and scanning like anywhere you can nearby, you're not finding any signs of it.
Okay.
Do you head back to the ship?
Yeah.
Okay. So we will have you head back to the ship without Naga. We'll have Mathis head back to the ship with information he's not willing to share. And with that, we will fade away from Naga walking into the ship. I imagine a little out of breath and looking a little guilty.
Wait, is Naga not back?
No.
Oh, then she wouldn't go. I don't.
You wouldn't know
like
until you got into. You wouldn't know until you went back into the ship,
Okay.
though, would you?
All right. You're right.
And we'll save that for next session.
Okay.
Awesome.
Naga gone. Oh no.
This works out because if next session you're the one that's not here, Doxy, I'll be like, she's off finding Naga.
I think actually the next session I'm the one that's not here that I think about it.
It's a really riveting meeting.
I was gonna say
Tiny is not in my inventory right now, and that gives me anxiety.
What's not in your inventory right now?
Tiny, my blaster pistol.
Oh, yeah.
It's not. It's with Naga, who is shooting at cops.
Oh, God.
Well, it took a little longer. But then the main campaign, but cops were eventually shot at.
But by an NPC, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's less important.
Yeah, it's like it's Wade being like, "Fuck the police."
Well, to be
straight
fair, Wade didn't know he was shooting the police.
No, he did.
Wade knew. Sia may not have. Wade knew what he was doing. All right, Mike.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for watching, everybody. If you're a subscriber to the channel, you missed it. Don't worry. It's available immediately after. If not, a few days later, it'll be over on the YouTube channel. Links are below. We'll go around the room. People can tell you where you can find them and all that good stuff. And we will start with Doxy.
Oh, hi, I'm Zero Doxy. I do live streams on twitch.tv/ZER0DOXY. I am actually delving much more into tabletops lately.
Yay.
So if you are digging this, then you might dig that. So check me out, please. Thanks.
Sweet.
Otherwise, I'm a variety streamer.
How about you, Maggie?
Hey, you guys can find me at Margaret Crone in all of the places, and Margaret Crone Plays on YouTube, where I upload new gameplay videos and all kinds of stuff every single day. I do a ton of tabletop stuff if you're interested in more tabletop action, and I also do variety streams, and I'm learning how to do some art. So, if you like that kind of stuff, come hang out.
Sweet. And Scott.
Hi. I pretty much only do tabletop stuff since I was a child.
Yep.
I could have friends, or I could play tabletops. I could play video games, or I could play tabletops. I could, it's one of those things where why not? It's the best thing that you could possibly do. Put it in your life. You need it. But despite the fact that I'm saying that it's the most important thing you could possibly do, I'm not streaming on Friday night like I usually do. I'm not playing my Eberron campaign because my little brother has his bachelor party that weekend. And so we are going to get fucking shit-faced all throughout Portland and in my lake house out in Maine and stuff like that. And there's like 17 guys staying at my lake house, and it's gonna smell. And we're taking a stretch Hummer to Portland, and I'm just like, wow, can you get much more redneck than that? And yeah, it's I suppose if we all pile back into the back of like one or two old F-150s or something like that, maybe. But it's gonna be a lot of fun.
All right, sweet.
Oh, and Doxy's game. Doxy, you didn't talk about your game. What the fuck?
I said that I was getting more into tabletops. I didn't want to take the spotlight for too long.
Excuse
I mean,
me.
that's the point. Take it all
Excuse
you
me.
want.
Take the spotlight.
Okay,
Talk about
well,
the game.
We're doing a tabletop called Kids on Bikes, and it's really cool. It's about kids, and
They make fun of
weird-ass
Mathis on that
sounds.
show too. I might have seen that.
Wherever Scott is, I'm being made fun of.
I mean,
I never am down with it. I just need you to know.
I
that.
appreciate it. But ever since I was 6,
DM that was DMing was down with it though.
Yeah, donkey.
do what you can to make yourself feel better, I guess. That's just,
listen, I just state facts. The fact that they're bad for you is.
oh god. Anyway, that's been my life since I was 16 years old. I'm used to it with Scott at the very least. Thanks for watching. If you want to tweet at us, you can do so at Lost in It Show. There's a subreddit, all that good stuff. We'll be back next Wednesday with Faded with the Stars. Yes. Cool. See you then, everybody. Goodbye.
Go find Rara.
Yeah, right.
No.